All right, everyone. We are live here at the Live Well this Tuesday night here at Fish, North Georgia. We are so glad that you guys are going to be joining us tonight. Got a great show in store for you guys. Going to battle through the head crud that I got going on, but I got all the guys around me, so we're going to power right through it. And I got Charlie Adams on the show tonight. If you don't know Charlie, you ought to. He actually was the winner of our Toys For Tots tournament a couple Saturdays ago, but like I said in the social description, he's in the store all the time. One of the nicest guys I know and one of the best anglers that I know, covering a whole variety of ways to catch bass. And one of the things we're going to talk about tonight is maybe some of the more traditional ways to target the bass on Lake Lanier, Lake Allatoona, all these highland reservoirs. So what's up? I thought it was Luke Turner and there, Tony. What's up, man? And all you guys, hey, bring your questions and your comments tonight. And so we're just going to have a good old-fashioned night of talking about fishing here. Getting close to Christmas. We're 1 week out, I think. 1 week out. So let me go ahead and announce that we will not be doing shows next week. We'll have a show this Thursday night, but next week, no shows. And then we'll figure it out the week after because I believe the next Tuesday night after that's New Year's. Am I right there, Clint?
Yep.
That's right there. So let's go ahead and let's talk about our fine sponsors. We got Sonar Pros, guys. Hey, tell you about it all the time. Trent and the guys over there. Who was over there? Whose boat? Are we allowed to say whose boat was being rigged up today?
Yeah. He posted on the story. Takumi Ito's boat was over there, and I got to go over there and check that out this evening after work and go see. He's got some cool stuff going on his boat this year.
Another pro, another well-known guy bringing his boat to Trent and the guys over there.
He's probably got 7 pros boats in there right now.
I bet he's busy. 770-530-4505. The best in the business right there. Next, we got Lip Sticker Fishing. Now, Kevin's got me this new logo, and it's got all his information on it. But I was unable to get it pulled up before the show, so that is on me. But, guys, listen. We tell you every week, he is the best out there right now by far, in my opinion, at putting you on those Megalodon spotted bass. But check out his Patreon. All right, he is doing live, member-only. Basically, you're in the boat with him, watching what he's doing. And there are a lot of guys that are taking part in this, and I'm getting feedback from these guys. They absolutely love it. So maybe by Thursday I can get his new logo up, but check him out at lipstickerfishing.com. But check out his Patreon because I'm telling you, you're going to learn how to catch those megalodons if you can't get on the boat with them. So, but if you get a chance, get on the boat with them. Now we got Evolve rod sleeves right here. I got a new supply. The store is stocked up with them here. The best rod sleeve on the market. We say it every week. You know about it not catching your hooks in your rod locker. They float. They got all the protection. A lot of cool colors. Hey, for the price of what you spend on a rod, protect it with the best. That's Evolve Fishing. Again, check them out here at Fish, North Georgia. And we did this before this show to make sure we understood it again. The Money Saver Lure Retriever. It's the best plug knocker on the market, but some of us weren't smart enough to be able to figure it out.
I'll be the one to say that I bought one, and I tried to use it, and when I tried to use it, it went in the lake. So it's important to know how to use it.
But it is good.
But it's a great lure retriever. I trust my friends that say it's a great lure retriever.
And Charlie come in and showed us how to do it.
Yeah.
So Charlie knew how to do it. So again, just another. We might have you show it again tonight. But it is the best on the market. Thing shoots through the water like a torpedo. You can get them here at Fish, North Georgia. If you're in the Allatoona area, you want to fish with a legend, Bill Payne Guide Service, 706-280-2305. He does sonar trips. He will do seasonal smallmouth trips and other lakes occasionally. But Allatoona is his mainstay. He's one of the most popular guests on this show. Guy probably forgot more today than I've known in the last 10 years. So he is a legend. He's the best. You need to book with Bill Payne Guide Service. And then my favorite up-and-coming guide right here. This kid is going to be around for a long, long time. Going to fish the Opens next year, Brooks Anderson Fishing. Now, he'll take us old guys out too, but he specializes in younger anglers wanting to understand Lake Lanier, understand the roles of spotted bass, how they act, how certain baits, just teaching you from the ground up, and also creating a foundation for you to take your fishing career into college and beyond. So check Brooks Anderson Fishing out right there. Go to brooksandersonfishing.com. Love the kid. Absolutely great guy. And then behind us, as you can see, we hit the wide. If you're in the Jasper, Georgia area and you need tires, brakes, alignment, Turner Tires, 706-253-3339. Brock and the guys up there will treat you right. Great family-owned business. Tell them the guys at Fish North Georgia sent you. And while we're talking about family-owned business, I want to take, well, since it's my podcast, I want to take the time to encourage you guys when you're shopping, not just for the holiday season and not just here at Fish North Georgia, but all of our local tackle shops. All of our local tackle shops. And that will be from Hammonds to the ones on out through Athens, the Dugout. There's a lot of new ones popping up. I want to encourage you guys, when you can, to shop local as opposed to the big stores. Nothing against the big stores, but they got a lot more that they can pull from. But these local shops are depending on guys like us to come in there and not only buy stuff, but if they do their shop right, you get the experience, you get to talk with guys, and it's a community building atmosphere. And I want you to support them with your hard-earned money. Yeah, it's easy to sit on the couch and order and just have something shipped to you in 3 days. Totally get it. It's an Amazon world. But I want to make sure that we support our local guys. We don't want to lose this as this world evolves. We always want to have places to go to. And so when you're out there fishing and you're thinking about buying baits, think first at your local shops. And then if they don't have it, go to your big ones like that. So, all right, everybody, what's up in the comment section? Good evening, Ron Swinford. Troy Mims, happy holidays. Back at you, Tony Watkins. Heath Mayo jumping on right there real quick with that question. And let me one more announcement. Starting January 1st, those of you watching on Facebook, the show is going to stop being broadcast on Facebook. You're going to have to go to the YouTube channel, become a subscriber, and watch the show there. Just for whatever reasons we're deciding it, that's where you're going to have to do that. So would love to keep it on Facebook and all that, but it makes more sense for the show to be in one location, and that's going to be on YouTube. So that's after the first of the year. So y'all got a couple weeks. But let's pull that question up. And I could say, well, you know what I need to do? I need to let everybody see Charlie's face. So look at here's Charlie right there. Look at that. Mr. Humble. Say hello.
Nice to meet you. Thank you for letting me be here.
Yeah, like that. Now listen, I'm gonna tease him again. I've been teasing him on it. He's a soft talker. So we're gonna have to make sure we keep him close to the mic. And Alex is gonna keep his earphones on like that. But I tell you, this man, every time he comes in the shop, and this is back to being at your local tackle shop. I might be dealing with a customer or something. Charlie come in and another customer being here. And before you know it, Charlie's off back there. He's helping. I ain't even got to do nothing. Charlie's giving him advice and telling him what to do and all that. And so it's always great every time he comes in here. If his daughter comes in here, now she's going to be a future rock star.
I agree.
Alyssa's going to be, and her boyfriend's okay.
Yeah,
Mason's all right.
He's all right.
He's all right. But Charlie knows a lot. And that's why I wanted to get him on because, he's a hell of an angler, but we know the names in the North Georgia area that get repeated every single week. And there are guys like Charlie who just kind of, you're not in the limelight that much, but you go fishing every day and you're successful. You know what to do, and you just keep your mouth shut and work.
And that's it.
That's it. But we're going to squeeze his ass for as much juice tonight as we can get out of that head. So, Heath Mayo, let's do this. Let's jump right on it. Black and blue crawl work year-round. He wants to know that.
Just depends on the lake and the color of the water. If it's a real staying lake like Russell, that's my go-to is a black and blue jig. Hartwell, same way. Clark Hill, I'll use it there. Lanier, there's a few guys that have good success on it there.
Yeah.
But as far as mine, it's going to be any sort of green pumpkin. It'll have some orange in it sometime of the year, and then sometimes it'll have blues in it, and that's about it.
Yeah.
That's my go-tos is any kind of green pumpkin.
Yeah. I know, don't Dana, I know I got Farmer back there. Jonathan Farmer's back there with Alex learning how to run the boards back there for us. He's look, put your ugly face just so we can see it. We see his hand. There we go. So I promise you, Big John's in the house. But when that question come up, he was back there shaking his head like that. So we're what's Ron got to say? Let's get through all these real quick, and then we'll get to talking to Charlie. After the last few times fishing, I just have no confidence in catching better fish in the winter at tuna. I have issues fishing deep, and I can't seem to catch anything decent in a ditch. I love my Alatoona, guys. Your fish are getting better. You just don't have them like Lanier. Don't you think, Clint? That's just, I mean, your odds of a big fish, they're going up.
It's getting better, but it's not the same. I think you're just sheer population is different when it comes to the size of the fish and the quality of the fish. But it's a great place to go learn. Like if you don't have confidence in ditch fishing, go ditch fish on Alatoona. If you don't have confidence in going and throwing a minnow, I'm going there this weekend to practice throwing a minnow just because I want to get better.
Throwing that minnow?
Yeah. And I mean, it's a great place to go learn. And like, if you want to go drag a jig, you can go drag a jig. You can do, there's so many different techniques you can apply when you have those young, like, yes, the size isn't there, but what does that mean? That means the age isn't there either. So like, they're not as educated as some of those Lanier 4 or 5.5 pound spots.
Yeah. I
mean, you have that factor of, you have a little bit of an edge, and the water's a little bit more dirty, so you have a little bit more advantage there. So go there to learn. Go try it. Yeah, you might catch 11 pounds of your best 5, but you're still learning how those fish react. The spotted bass are still spotted bass at the end of the day.
That's right. War Eagle, the best. That's a hell of a name. Good evening to you. Doc Holliday, good question. What's the sweatshirt status? I am picking them up at 9 a.m. in the morning. They will be in the mail tomorrow. So I called them today. For those that pre-ordered our Fish North Georgia sweatshirts, I thought for a second you had one. I looked over there at camo. Kind of similar to the one over Charlie's back. Pop that camera on Charlie for a second. Excuse me. That's our True Grit tackle ones. Now, I will have some extras here at the shop. So I will have some extras. So they will be in the mail tomorrow. So appreciate you joining us there. Cody Cordell. Yeah, I think I took too big of a sip of Pepsi right there. Any tips for Carter's Lake this time of year? Never been on the lake before. Hell of a time to go on Carter's. Now, Charlie, you fish Carter's?
Yeah, I've fished a few times.
Okay, so why don't you tell Mr. Cody, who I appreciate you joining us, what would you do on Carter's this time of year?
If you think you're fishing too slow, slow down.
Yep.
That's about it. The slower you fish, the better off you are. You can find you a good ditch with some standing timber in it and set and drag the bottom.
Shaky head?
Shaky heads, jigs, or even a ditch digger you can get here at Fish North Georgia.
Look at that shameless plug.
You can take and really, it takes a lot of time. It's a boring way to fish, but you can catch some quality fish.
You can. Now, one thing, I appreciate you talking so long so I could put my dip in out there.
You know, I got you.
Yeah. Alex is getting really good at changing the cameras. He sees me reaching for my can. He's like,
you see you rubbing on it for 15 minutes.
And look, I've been noticing ever since, what's his name said I'm messing with the mic all the time to quit doing that. I had a guy come up to me at the Toys For Tots tournament, and he goes, Danny, you got to quit playing with that microphone. You like you're tweaking. So I said, all right, I'll try, but I'm a handsy fella right there. You got to watch it.
Stay on that side.
Stay on that side. Hey, as long as my hands are above the table, we're good, right?
Right.
So anyway, it gets on my wife's nerves, but we do what we can do. I will say this. Don't worry about top water on Carter's.
No.
Understand that it is going to be deeper on average than any lake you've probably ever fished in your life.
There's many spots you'll be 10, 15 foot off the bank and be sitting at 50 plus.
Yeah, it's very ledgy.
I mean, it's
very rocky.
A good lake. Beautiful fish, healthy fish.
Got a lot of bait.
Yes.
Alewives are alewives. That's the predominant bait up there.
Yes.
To the point where there's so much bait. A lot of guys that fish Carters, especially your striper guides, complain it's got too much bait, and actually makes it harder to catch the fish. I mean, they're eating the whole time.
Well, you got two different types of bait fish there. You've got the herring that'll stay up closer towards the top, and the alewives, they stay deep.
Yeah, they do.
And I mean deep.
Deep.
It's hard to fish.
It is hard to fish. But, hey, you know what? You can't catch them if you ain't out there, Cody. So get out there on the water. Going to be cold this weekend, right? Guys, ain't it supposed to turn back cold? I thought so.
23.
23?
Yeah, on Saturday.
Woohoo. At least so Carter's ain't like Lanier, though. Ain't but like 3,000 acres. So you ain't making that long-ass run from Laurel down to the dam.
It was 26 up in the mountains that blast off on Saturday. That was cold.
Ooh.
Icing the guides for like 3 hours. Not
That
fun.
sucks, dude. Did you not put any your Pam on there like what's his name said to do or any of that stuff?
I mean, I had them greased up, but it was still bad. It was still. I mean, I was crawling a big swim bait, and it was just snowing on the deck. It was just spitting ice out of the guides.
It's that time of year, man.
Yeah,
It's that time of
it
year.
is.
Now, Philip Hunt, evening, y'all from Florida this week. Bass fishing and inshore fishing this week. Well, I tell you what, it's the time to do that. So I hope you're enjoying it. Be safe down there. And now, Ron says again, make sure that you have plenty of line on your reels at Carter. Again, that goes back to being deep. If you got 50 yards on your bait caster, you
No
might need
shallow
more.
spools.
Yeah, no shallow spools and all that. So, all right. So we're pretty much caught up with the comment section. So let's talk about the recent events first. Toys for Tots. All right. Now, you told me before the week before going in, you found some good fish. You knew where some good fish were.
Right.
Now, what was your plan of attack going into that tournament?
I was actually going to go to that spot and throw nothing but jerk baits.
Jerk baits.
Yeah.
But you didn't do that.
No, sir. And we sat down Saturday morning in the boat, me and Blake did, and we pulled up the graph, sat and looked at the map, said, well, this is a good ditch here. Let's start here. Pulled up. It was loaded with bait. 120 foot on Panoptic, slap full of bait. No fish. Could not catch a fish off of it.
Too much bait.
And then we started throwing towards the bank with a 3-3 contact. And Blake kept getting short struck, lost the blue. So I swapped to a 2.8 contact.
And that was what you started catching fish on.
Game on from there.
Now, what you guys know, so Charlie he won the tournament 21.53. That's what he had total weight. He had big fish as well, a 7.81 pound largemouth. Now, the fact that you caught it on a spot choker, on an underspin is one thing, because I would not have expected that largemouth on that. But the best part of the story is, for those of you that don't know, I'm going to let you, Charlie, tell how this fish got on your line.
It was a freak accident. That's all I can say. I threw over a cable, and it was 20 foot off the water. And I reeled it up, flipped it over the cable, it hit the water, put 2 turns on the reel, and the fish was on it. That's
just there.
When it's meant to be, it's meant to be, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, good Lord works in mysterious ways.
Yeah, he does. I got married. I don't know how that happened. A true unicorn fish.
Yes,
that was what now, I got the message from Mason that you had caught one. He thought it was like 6.5, 7 pounds. And I got that early.
Yes.
And what are you calling me sir for?
Yes.
You old as I am, ain't you?
Well, no, I ain't quite there yet.
So, but anyway, I get this thing. I know Charlie's got a good one. And so I'm thinking big fish because, we had all these names in this tournament. We had the Emils and the Kazes, and just that tournament was loaded with some kick-ass anglers. So I was like, well, maybe Charlie will get big fish. But I still remember you getting up on stage, and that's exactly what old Tony that was doing the weigh-in said. He goes, that's a unicorn.
Yes, sir.
And he held that thing up, and I was like, good Lord. Now, at that time, I didn't know what you'd caught it on either.
No, sir.
So that was just like, it was awesome. But, okay, so you got your largemouth in, but you guys still had a quality bag to go with that. Now, were you north of Laurel, mid-lake? Just give me the general area. You don't have to throw your spot out, but what was your plan? Did you stay north most of that tournament?
Most of the tournament, we were north. We made one run down to Little Hall to a spot I know, nothing there, and we ran all the way back up, went even above Clark's Bridge, and started fishing back down from Clark's Bridge.
Yeah, and so now, of the 5 fish you weighed in, of course, one was that big largemouth. Were any more largemouth? I didn't pay attention.
Yes, sir. We had another one that was over 4 that Blake had caught off a spinnerbait.
Off a spinnerbait. So
Yes,
almost 12 pounds of largemouth. That's we figured some largemouth would help out. Somebody would come.
We actually caught 7 total largemouth, and they just couldn't compete with some of the spots.
Get a little louder, Charlie.
Okie dokie.
Yeah.
Is that better?
Yeah. Like I said, the guy is very soft spoken, so he's gonna be out of his element tonight. Because normally when you're in here, I'm loud and you're soft, but it's all right. So, on the water with a rod and Jesus, probably the best place to be and the best guy to be on the water with. So there you go. Best line for an A-rig. Got my first one this past weekend and broke off on a fish with 20-pound fluoro. This question is loaded, too. That's kind of a loaded question because guys got various ideas. Clint, I'm going to let you hit that one first. You throw an A-rig a good bit, don't you?
Yeah.
What's your setup for an A-rig?
So I throw it on a 7-foot, I want to say it's a 7'9" Alpha Angler wide glide, and I throw it on straight 20-pound fluoro. I think you're fine with that. You just got to be careful if you're going to bird nest it. That's how you break it off. I mean, if you bird nest with an A-rig, you'll snap it off. But it just kind of depends on how you're fishing it. But I like having that straight fluoro. A lot of guys will throw a braid to a leader so they don't snap it off if they get a bird's nest. But I'd rather have that more finessey, like being able to have that 20-pound, not worrying about it. I mean, with a rig, you've obviously got wire in the water. You're making a big pulse, like when you're pulsing it with your rod and reel and everything like that. So I would stick with the 20-pound. I think you just had kind of a fluke accident dropping that A-rig. And I mean, if you want to get confident with it, go buy a Umbrella A-rig, $13.99 at Walmart, and go out there and throw it. Because I mean, you don't have to have the special $40 to $60 A-rigs just to go catch them on an A-rig. Like you can go around with the Umbrella Flash Mob or whatever it is and go catch them on an A-rig. Like you don't have to have that $50 rig. Then once you get confident with it, that's when you start dialing it in. Do you go blades, no blades? I mean, you can do an entire show on A-rigs, and I'm not the guy for that, but I just like the Umbrella, keep it simple, or I like a Shane's Baits, like 9-arm.
Yeah, I got you. All right, now, Charlie, you throw an A-rig?
Yes, sir, I do.
What do you throw it on?
Usually straight fluoro. It's 20-pound at least. Sometimes I even drop a 15, depending on what I'm around.
Yeah.
But most of the time, straight fluoro, you shouldn't have any issues.
I'm the crazy one. I throw it on 12.
An A-rig?
I throw it on 12.
How big of an A-rig?
Just your regular old Georgia blade. Or I throw a Yum. Yeah. I throw a Joker on 12. Gets down there, baby.
But how many of you lost?
Oh, a shit ton.
Okay.
But see, here's the bad thing. Here's the bad that farmers give me. But here's the thing is like, I break one off, I know where I can get another one.
Right.
Alex, you throw an A-rig?
Not very often.
Not very often?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Well, one thing he could have had a nick in his line, but I will say this. I do always check my guides when I'm rigging up my rod again with a Q-tip. I go through all my guides to see if I might have a nick or something in my guides. That is one thing I do, but it could have been just a fluke right there. So Ron's Nate, I think we got Charlie close enough now. He's gonna talk louder.
Yes, sir. I can talk a little bit.
He's gonna talk louder right there. Ron said that fish might have seen the bait in the air and waited for it to hit the water. Many largemouth will track things in the air if they are shallow and can see out of water. I don't think people realize how well fish do see out of water.
It's pretty neat because you can watch, like when toggle worms start coming out, and you'll see the nest over the banks. You can see fish swimming around the overhanging limbs where that nest is, and they'll be cruising around there waiting on, the toggle worm to drop in, or a caterpillar or something like that. I mean, they'll be there.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
He did say that a bird's nest did happen that day. I was getting used to throwing it.
Right.
You could have just, fair enough. You just could have got a weak spot in your line and all that. So, hey, guys, seriously, so we've caught up. Now, listen, if you do got questions for Charlie on like the more traditional ways to fish, because that's what I'm getting ready to transition into on Lanier and these Highland reservoirs, throw those questions out there because this is going to be a good one. Now, let's jump on that because you had a great day.
Yeah.
I was so proud you won. I love all the guys that were fishing. I was so proud you won. Guys, he had to sit in the hot seat for an hour and 30 minutes, 30 or 40 minutes.
About an hour and 40 minutes.
Because you were both 13 out of 97.
I sat there watching the weigh-in for about the same time because I weighed in right behind him.
Yeah.
It felt like a while.
And every time somebody would come up, and I think we're going to have to get that camera fixed, even though we changed it. So I keep seeing the fuzzy stuff on Clint. We cannot mess up that beautiful face because that's the chair the good-looking guys sit in. Kevin, I saw Kevin in Woodstock there. So, hey, Kevin. But we want to make sure. Pop that chest. Put that thing over there.
What?
bounce them chest muscles. Like, there you go.
There
Bounce
you
it,
go.
baby.
There he goes. Jesus Christ.
But I can't
Oh my
look when I
gosh.
run. I can't bounce them. They just do this.
They just bounce on their own.
I'm a solid B cup right now. I am losing weight. My goal is to get down to an A cup by spring. By bikini season right there. So, but it was funny watching your facial expressions.
Oh, yeah.
Every other 21 pound bag come up like that. It was just, oh, Leah. Yep, she's there.
Oh,
She's there.
Clint ain't right,
It
Kevin.
ain't right, Clint. So it is, but that's the good looking guy chair. We put the smart guys to my left, the good looking guys to my right. Not that you ain't smart. And we had Alex.
Oh.
We had Wolfman back there in the closet back there with Farmer. How about this question? Let's go ahead and hit that. What contour features do you look for in ditches? I will say this, and I'm looking old school, the slope going down. And then now Farmer and you guys might say there's always those little different features that make a ditch just a little bit different from another one. So, Charlie, when you're looking at a ditch, what contour are you looking for?
I like to see it either get tighter or make a bend. If you find them on the bends, the fish are usually laying beside the bend on the back side of it, either on the shallow side or on the deeper side of it, if there's any flow or any current back there.
Right.
Because I like fishing shallower ditches more than I like fishing deep ditches.
So you're looking, now when you say shallower ditch,
I like to
20 foot less?
Yes.
So you like that shallow stuff?
Yes.
Well, on Lanier, it's relative, but
Yes.
to me, 20 foot, 15 foot up, that's shallow.
I very seldom get over 20 foot deep.
Really?
Very seldom.
I know that Farmer's giving a good hand pump back there. I know not Thornton, but Underwood with lip sticker. He sometimes likes to go out where the ditch comes out to the timber.
Mm-hmm.
He likes that. He likes getting out there. He'll do both. But I know a lot of guys that like to stay out. So, and I guess too, it depends on where you're seeing the bait.
Right.
Too, because either one of you can correct me on this if I'm wrong. Lots of times, sun comes up, those spots and even the largemouth, primarily spots, have got the bait. They'll push them things all the way up into the back of a ditch. And then as the sun gets up, it seems they just kind of migrate back. Right. There'll be some fish that stay shallow, like 20 foot and less the whole time, and they'll sit up in that, especially if they got that feature like you're talking about. Mm-hmm. And then some will migrate back out to the timber.
Right.
So you're basically saying you like the feature you're looking for is where it tightens up or a bend.
Right. Now, I like to find like the creek channel bends in the backs of pockets that's really got a nice sized creek feeding it. If you can find that, the bait's going to be there.
Yeah.
And 9 times out of 10, if you can get them back there in that shallow part early in the morning, you're not going to have to worry about fishing any deeper.
Yeah, because of that.
Because you've already got your fish.
Yeah. Makes sense. No, it makes sense.
Then you can really start really trying to pick stuff apart and trying to get that bigger bite.
Okay. How about this? What's your go-to first thing in the morning starting bait for a ditch?
Jerkbait.
Oh, so you're not on the bottom starting off?
No, sir. I like my stuff to be moving. And you can dictate a lot. You can dictate a lot with a jerkbait. You can dictate how fast you bring it. You can burn it. You can take and pause it more. You're going
Still louder.
Yeah, you got to speak up.
They're laughing. They're laughing. Listen, and in all fairness, the man's very soft-spoken.
How about that?
Hey, also, too, look, you can check one of them mic controls back there. You might can just turn his mic up. I don't know which one he's in, but you might can do that.
Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
Yeah, how about doing that?
Hello.
Hello. Just look, Charlie, make love to the mic.
I'm not going to eat this thing.
Right there. That's perfect.
Just talk loud, dadgummit. All right, so anyway, okay, so jerkbait. That was not what I thought.
I love starting with a jerkbait early in the morning because you're going to get those more active fish that are feeding quickly. Yeah. You can cover a lot of water with it.
Yeah.
A lot. And then if you see that it's not producing, I'll swap to either a crankbait, a shallow, a square bill, something like that, or I'll swap to a spinnerbait.
So you are doing different things than most people are with ditches.
You have to start somewhere that everybody else isn't. And don't mess with stuff that's like Novocaine. If it works, it works. If it don't, it don't.
Yeah,
Novocaine, you give it enough time, it's going to work.
it is going to work. That makes sense. All right, so you started off with a jerkbait. Now we're going to assume you were in the back. You go into the back part of the ditch first and work your way out, or you start kind of mid ditch and working your way towards the back.
I usually start in the 15-foot range.
When you hit about 15 foot,
and then I'll start fishing further back. And then if I don't get bit back there, I'll pull out and I'll go to the next one. I won't even worry about going deeper.
Okay, so
I like a shallow bite.
You like a shallow bite. Now, how long do you give it with a jerkbait before you switch over to a crankbait?
What was that again?
How long will you give the jerkbait? How long will you fish it until you figure out it ain't working before you switch to a crankbait?
I'll throw all of them at the same time, just about it.
So you're just rotating.
Yes.
You'll make a few casts with a jerkbait, few with that, and then you spinnerbait.
Because a lot of times, if you throw a crankbait out there, you can get them to fire up, or a spinnerbait. Then you can take and really throw the jerkbait through there and pick them apart. Once that bite stops, then you can pick up your shaky head.
So what you're telling me is you spend some time in a ditch.
Oh, yeah.
You spend some time. You ain't making 2-3 casts and then leaving.
That's just like any other person that fishes a brush pile.
Right.
They're going to pick that brush pile apart.
Yeah.
If they know the fish there. Then I do the same thing when I'm fishing any area. I'm really going to pick it apart.
How are you working your spinnerbait?
I'll burn it to start with. And then sometimes I'll let it bounce off the bottom.
So, okay, because this is not any conversation we have on ditches or that we've ever had on ditches. And Jonathan, you've been around longer than any of these guys. I know you could shake your head in agreement. It's throw something, either like one of our ditch diggers or a Demiki or a underspin, let it hit the bottom and slow drag it.
Right.
That is what I would say 80% of the anglers do. And it does work.
Yeah. The only time I would throw anything other than those to start with is if they're not working. What I had going to start with was working.
Yeah.
And then it quit.
I like that.
So then you make the changes on the fly, and then you go back to dragging stuff through the bottom.
Gotcha. I do not know how to pronounce that name.
H.W. Hines.
H.W. Hines. That makes sense. That's the easy way to do it.
Yep.
How does line size matter when you're scoping a minnow? Does a 12 versus an 8 or a 6 pound test make a difference? And I will say yes, depending on where you're at, how deep you're at, and what the fish are doing. That's a very easy general answer for me, but you scope a lot, you throw the minnow, you answer that question.
Yeah. So when you're throwing that minnow, when you got 12 pound, that you have a lot more rigidity with that. So you have a lot more control over that bait. When it's in the summertime and you really want to shake it, 12 pound, you can get away with it, right? When it comes to the 10 or 8 or 6, that's what I'm throwing more in this wintertime. Like I want to downsize that line because you're also your fall rate. You have to think if I'm trying to throw a lighter head in the wintertime, I mean, yeah, some of those fish are deeper, but being able to go down with my line size, I'm throwing like an 8 pound or a 6 pound going down with that line size and just trying to get that same action as if when that water's warmer in the 60s, 70s, 80s, you're getting almost the same presentation with that lighter line when the water's in the 50s and the 40s and down to the 30s.
Yeah. Hey, do me a favor, Farmer. While I'm talking right here, will you switch those cables back on his camera? I'd rather have it's laying right there. You'll see them. So that's the one. Charlie might have seen what I did right there.
All kinds of technical difficulties.
Yeah, well, it's just like, listen, like, you're so beautiful. We don't want it blacking out. So that's the one from the other one. And then that one down there, just plug it back in. I'd rather have a little snow than you going in and out.
A little snow.
We'll see if it's the camera or not. But yeah, good answer right there. Discover Bass Adventure. Do you prefer using Livescope or 2D chirp to locate them on the bottom of ditches? Now, I will say this, that there are some guys out there, LJ's one that comes to mind, that loves the 2D, and he can tell. He can just tell by what pixels between the bottom and that. So I know he's a 2D guy. What about you?
Honestly, if they're on the bottom, they're on the bottom. You won't never see them until you get them to wake up. I don't use my Livescope for scoping fish that much.
You just know they should be there. And
right. The main thing I look for when I use my Livescope is just structure. and then I'll burn something through the structure, baiting it off of something, see if I can get something to light up.
Right.
If I get something to light up, then I really start focusing on trying to catch the fish.
Yeah. Once you pull one, you can pull a boat. You can tell
Correct.
because I've seen so many guys post that all of a sudden there's nothing. Then you get a bite, and then there's spaghetti everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they're belly deep. And that's why in the wintertime you catch a lot of them. Got that little haze right there on the belly.
You'll see a lot of red mud.
A lot of red mud. Hey, real quick before we go to the next question, let's go ahead and pull up our fine sponsor, Fishers of Hope. Real quick, want to give them some love, guys. Their mission, to glorify God, be servants of his word, and to bring those in need to peace and hope that only he can bring. Did I say that like a preacher? Did that sound
Yes, sir.
preacher-esque like that? So, guys, hey, listen, this is a ministry that they have fishing tournaments. Primary thing is to help those in need. It's a great thing. You get to go fish. You're helping out. Makes your heart feel good. If you're interested, check them out at Fishers of Hope Ministry at gmail.com. And again, if you know someone that needs help, let them know. I think oftentimes that's one of the big things is, and if it's you, reach out. You know, sometimes we have a hard time asking for help. Be brave, ask for help. There are people out there like Fishers of Hope that want to help you and others. So we appreciate Fishers of Hope for their support of the live well. And that's a true thing. You got to be willing to try to help people out, but find those people because that's, we got to get them the help like that. So Derek O, good question here. Is there anything different about your winter spinnerbait? Now, you said you burned it. Are you throwing like a hidden weight, mini-me type of spinnerbait, or are you throwing the old standard War Eagle, whatever?
Mini-me only.
Mini-me only. Blade colors on a sunny day versus blade colors on a cloudy day. Makes no difference?
I don't change it up. The only thing I change up is my trailer.
Well, drop that juice.
It'll either be a paddle tail or it'll be a straight fluke. Nothing else.
Okay. What makes you choose one over the other?
Wind.
Okay, so windy day.
Windy day, I'm gonna throw just a fluke.
And then on a calm day, you'll throw the paddle tail. Trying to get that little bit extra.
A little bit of extra movement. A little bit extra additive attractant is what I call it.
Your little attractant.
Yeah, my little attractant.
Little attractant right there. So, okay, good. So what's up, McGuire? Nate Fisher. I do not throw these. I know that Bill Payne, when he was on, mentioned it. Blade baits.
I own a few, but I don't throw them.
Yeah.
They look great.
They do look great.
Work. I've never really tied one on and worked.
You don't throw them either?
No, not really.
Alex.
Nope.
Farmer, I know you throw it.
He's over here smiling.
He's smiling like a possum. So since you're close to that microphone, we don't have to put the camera on you. Keep the camera on me because I'm better looking than you are. But go ahead. Give them something about a blade bait really quick.
A blade bait gives you more action than, say, your regular old swim bait down there in those ditch type areas. And you can fire them up a lot easier with a power fishing bait. I still see that as a power fishing bait, even though it's more finessey and you can fish it on lighter stuff. It's still a power bait. You're still moving it, still causing a reaction strike. So blade baits to me is I can throw it out there and see if the fish are active or not, but I can still be finessey if I want to.
So you're playing both sides of the fence.
Yeah.
Okay, makes sense. I know that a pretty cool, and I think you might have been the one that proved this right. When we had Bill Payne on, didn't you catch one on the feather treble?
Yep.
So Bill Payne was throwing a spoon in a ditch, kind of like a Flex It or a Georgia Blade.
It's a jigging spoon.
Yep. And then he was putting did you hear this?
Mm.
So he goes about, 12 inches up above it maybe? And he ties a feathered treble, just a feathered treble.
You tie a Palomar knot to the feathered treble.
Almost like a drop shot.
Yeah.
You got your spoon on the bottom, and as you're working that spoon across the bottom, you got that feathered treble about 12 inches up, just something else to get a bite on. Bill Payne was talking about that, and then old Clint went out there, and he said it happened. You caught a fish.
Yeah, I caught a fish in 76 foot of water on the bottom on a queen tackle tungsten jigging spoon, and then I had that feathered treble, and it had one eat the feathered treble on the top.
Yeah.
Wow.
So there you go, little tip right there and all that. I'm still curious about the spinnerbait.
Okay.
Okay. So you're notoriously shallow ditch fishing,
Mhm.
but you don't just fish ditches
No.
in the wintertime. So you're still hitting your points and your docks and all that, or whatever.
Right.
Because, I mean, hell, you caught that big largemouth off a dock.
Right.
Are you working that spinnerbait around any of that stuff as well?
No, sir.
That's just a ditch thing.
It's just something to get them to liven up. Now, Blake did catch a few off of blowdowns that Saturday on the spinnerbait.
On a spinnerbait.
Yes, sir.
Same type of spinnerbait?
Same type.
Okay. So I'm trying. It was kind of windy that morning?
It's depending on what part of the lake you were on.
Yeah, and you were north.
Yeah, we were north and we had a lot of wind. Now, when we ran down the Little Hall, it was flat
Yeah.
because the wind was blowing the wrong direction to be over there.
Okay.
So then we've seen that it was flat there. We come back out to the main lake, there at River Forks, and there was a little bit of wind, like coming down the chute, like always.
Right.
And we started fishing a couple of little secondary points and main lake points, caught one or two, and then we ran back up.
Ran back up. Okay. I mean, did you throw a spinnerbait at all, Clint? Because you fished the tournament. You finished 15th, but you were only, what was you from him? 2
We
pounds?
were 2 pounds out. Yeah, but
Oh, it's crazy.
the weights were so tight in that tournament. I think it just shows like how healthy that place is. I mean, being able to have almost 100 boats out there and you have that many bags up there. And I mean, I thought it was going to take 25 to win, but like after seeing how the fish reacted that day, it was like I figured somebody was going to stumble upon a big largemouth. Obviously, he did. Like, and it was. I mean, it was just guaranteed to happen that somebody was going to come across it. But I mean, it didn't fish how I felt like went into it thinking it was going to fish. Like
No, I figured it was going to be 23, 24.
Like I figured it was going to be the bigger bags, but the fish weren't reacting like I thought they should considering the water temperature. So, but I did throw around a spinnerbait a little bit, but I did not get bit doing that. I mean, everything we basically caught our fish on was on the bottom shallow early and then really deep later in the day.
Yeah, makes sense. Randy Callahan's got a good question. And I actually thought about this when you said it. How do you put a trailer on a mini-me? Because that's the old hidden weight.
Mm-hmm.
So pull that mic close to you and tell the world how you do it.
All I do is push it up a little bit harder and put a little super glue on it.
Do you spit on it?
Nope.
So you actually push it up on the weight,
Yep.
on the hidden weight.
And then put a little dab of super glue.
Because I guess it really don't matter if you blow it out a little bit up there because the skirt's covered it.
It's not going to do anything to it, mess up no action, nothing.
Okay, and just super glue it.
Just put a little dab of super glue.
Okay, well, there you go.
Like
Because that is something when you talk about the mini-me style baits, a lot of guys don't use trailers. Now, do you throw like a stinger hook or anything like that with it?
No trailer hook, no nothing.
No, nothing. I like it.
Mini-me, usually they get it in their mouth, they've got it in their mouth. And it's not going to come out.
Not going to come out. All right, I like that. I'm really like you've got me kind of floored because I thought when we were going to talk about ditches, we were getting ready to talk about dragging a ditch.
I mean,
Did you do that any at all? Do you
Yes.
ever do it?
we do it from time to time.
But
I
you don't do
power
it with
fish a
this,
ditch.
huh?
I power fish a ditch,
You
but
power fish a
I
ditch.
will take and slow down and pull a ditch digger through it.
Jonathan keeps raising his arm back. No, not because of your volume, because he fishes the same way. And he always gets in there and gets in his feelings when guys get in here and they're finesse fishing. And
Well, that just goes back to the chasing largemouth or chasing spots.
was that your target fish?
I
largemouth?
I knew everybody was going to come in with a sack full of spots.
Mm-hmm.
Now, did we know that we were going to catch what we caught? No. I was mainly targeting largemouth.
I believe the second big fish, Dave and them down at Buford Dam Bait and Tackle they had a 5 pound spot. Was there any more 5 pound spots?
we had a 5.5 pound spot in our
But it was a
bag.
spot.
Yeah.
Nobody else weighed a big largemouth in other than him, right? That I
Not
remember. Do you
not that
remember
I
a big
know of,
largemouth?
There was
no.
one more that was weighed in, but it was around the 4 pound mark.
Yeah, and hell, you had that one too. I mean, you had one of those. You
No,
could
there
have
was
weighed it.
another one. that
Yeah, I know,
came
but
in
what I'm
there.
saying is you had a 4 pounder as
Yeah.
well. What was that 4 pound largemouth caught on?
It was caught on spinnerbait.
On a spinnerbait. I'll be doggone. What's up, Harold Grizzle? Derrico. Huh? You guys what?
And that fella right there is one that'll tell you, you chase them largemouths, You can catch them. Just like that man right there tell you.
Oh, yeah.
Them two right there is the ones I don't like fishing against.
Well, Harold woke up late or something. He did. He texted me, goes,
He
can I
said
come?
good afternoon at 8:45 p.m.
Yeah. Well, he woke up late the morning of the tournament too, because he
Oh,
called up
yeah?
and said, can I come late? And I'm like, I don't know. You have to ask the guys and all that. Derek O, what makes you stay in a ditch and drag versus going and looking for ditches with more active fish?
If you do get bit by one and you see that there's bigger fish down there, that makes you want to stick around.
Yeah.
That's where your panoptics comes into play.
Right.
You can tell what size the fish are to an extent.
Right.
Then I'll really pick them apart.
Now, we had that conversation. You stopped by the shop earlier today, and I think there was a guy in here or something. You and I got in a conversation, and I think I asked you this. Hell, it might have been Farmer earlier. You get in the ditch, and you start catching 2-pounder after 2-pounder after 2-pounder. Generally, that's what that ditch is going to hold.
Yes. You're gone.
I mean, there's always exceptions to that rule.
Mm-hmm.
But generally, and if you see that, especially if you're in a tournament setting, you're like, these are not tournament winning fish, you're going to move on.
Yeah, I'm going to get my 5 and then I'm out.
Go ahead and get your limit, and then you'll call from there.
If they're biting quick and they're all around that 2.5 pound mark, go ahead and get your limit and then start culling up.
Okay. All right. What about you there, Clint? I mean, he just got home from the hospital at 4 a.m. I got sick as a dog. Okay. Got you that. What's up, Michael Loner? How you doing? But he catches some big-ass fish on Allatoona.
Yeah.
He's always posting big fish. Michael is. But what about you? What makes you stick with a ditch and drag versus going and looking for active fish?
It really just depends on how soon I get bit. If I get bit and have that, like if I get a bite and it's quality fish, or if I get a bite and it's not, because like we fished a ditch that day and it was like, we caught 2 real quick that were real small. And we were like, oh, we're about to leave. And then I caught a 4-pounder on a jig. And it was like, okay, maybe we should stay. We ended up staying for 2 hours and we culled up from 12 pounds to 19.5. And we stuck around for an extra hour. And if we would have left after we caught those first 2 fish, then we probably would have left and not thought anything of it. I mean, we went from catching 2 14-inchers to catching a striper to catching a 4-pounder to catch another 3.5 to catch another 3.5. Like, it was like, we stuck around and like felt it out, and we didn't move. I mean, we spot locked the boat.
Now, what part of the lake were you on? Would you say
I was
south?
farther south. Yeah.
Farther south?
Yeah.
How far south?
I mean, around the Sisters.
Past 369 bridge? Yeah. Okay. How long did it take you to make that? Is that the first place you went to? Just out of curiosity, I want to know how long it took.
We went like a couple miles up, but not far away. I mean, it was 22 miles, and it took us right at 24 minutes.
Was it cold?
Only things that was cold was the thumb slits of my gloves. Everything else, I was pretty warm.
You were pretty bundled up. Yeah, there you go.
I had the old Elmer Fudd hat on and all.
You did. It was fantastic. Fantastic watching you do that. What made you, this back at you, what made you decide to go south? Because I think Charlie's game plan was, I'm going to stay north and I'm going to fish for largemouth. Mm-hmm. You had spots on your spots. You wanted to fish for spots.
And I knew that those big spots should be up shallow. And I only had, if we wanted to catch 20 pounds, I figured that it was going to take that first 2 hours of the day. So my game plan was fish shallow early, fish that shallow rock, and then bounce around the south end to try to, like, we were like, oh, we can go check a ditch, but I don't know if we really want to fish ditches. Like, we kind of wanted to capitalize on that shallow bite, stay on main lake stuff, hoping we catch those fish that are pulling up throughout the day.
Right.
And halfway worked out. I mean, we had a 5.5 pounder pretty early, started to fill our limit out on a jig pretty early and quick, and then bounced around, lost some fish that should have helped, went and fished some ditches, lost some fish that should have helped, and then finally ended up in that one ditch and actually started connecting with some fish.
Started connecting with some good ones like that.
Yeah.
It makes sense. It's always interesting from my point of view to listen to people's kind of game plan going in and then just see how it works. Now, speaking of game plans, guys, in about 10 minutes, we're going to have the Serve IT question of the night. I hope you guys were paying attention to the beginning of the show, or that maybe you have followed some information about the tournament in past episodes, because that's going to help you answer the question. So, Charlie, let's say you and I decide to play hooky tomorrow. I'm a brand new angler or not as an experienced angler on Lake Lanier, I want you to go show me the wintertime bite. I don't want to scope. Nothing against it, just don't want to do it.
Mm-hmm.
What are we going to start off doing?
We'll start off in flats that goes up against the backs of creeks and close to ditches. Now we'll stay shallow for the most part. Start out with if you're a new fisherman, I'm going to tie you on a crankbait or something that it's going to be really easy for you to use.
Okay, so crankbait, something moving.
Mm-hmm. Any kind of power fishing early in the morning, whether it be fish head spin, any kind of contact, even a fluke. You can start out with a fluke sometimes.
Now, we're not talking a weightless fluke, or are you talking a weightless fluke?
I'm talking weightless.
This time of year?
Yeah.
Really, in flats?
Mm-hmm. Only in super shallow flats.
Super shallow flats.
When I say super shallow, you're talking those 3 foot, 4 foot flats.
What's the water temp right now?
The water temperature is right around 50 degrees.
And so
it was Saturday, it was 50. Well, during the tournament, we found 48-degree water. And that was up the river.
Up the river?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not going to lie. That's not the answer I thought you'd say.
Mm-hmm.
I thought you'd say, hey, we'd go hitting the ditch,
mm-hmm.
back in, or hitting rocky points or something. But you're going to look for shallow flats right now.
Shallow flats right next to ditches.
Right next to ditches. Now, you're thinking that this is more of a largemouth bite?
Yeah.
Okay, so northern end of the lake?
Northern end.
Northern
Wahoo
end.
area.
Wahoo.
Somewhere in there, Yellow Creek or Wahoo.
Okay, and that's not the norm.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think it's more normal than people think, but that's not what
Everybody does.
No, yeah, and that's not what we talk about on here a lot.
No.
Okay, so crankbait. So if that stuff ain't working, give me let's talk about the crankbait. What kind of crankbait we're throwing? If we're throwing a crankbait.
Some kind of rock crawler or some kind of square bill.
All right, how much rock needs to be on these flats? Are we talking mud flat? Jonathan, quit smiling at me. I'm gonna throw something at you. I know how you fish. So I mean, he's like he is sitting back there with a chub.
Mm-hmm.
He is just happy tonight.
Yeah, because if somebody talks like he talks.
You are talking is like, which is why I wanted you to come on here. Again, I love my scopers and deep guys. I have nothing against it whatsoever, and I think it's amazing what them guys can do. But when we talk about the more traditional ways of fishing these lakes, there are ways that you still can go target, number one, largemouth.
Right.
But you can catch a lot of spots up there too.
Absolutely.
And everything.
Absolutely.
And win a tournament doing it.
And win a tournament doing it.
Yeah. Well,
You
everybody gets lucky from time to time.
Oh, yeah, but yeah, you're right. You're right. But you know how to fish. That's why you're on here.
Right.
But so on these flats, last year on Allatoona when I fished it, maybe Michael Lohner, if you're still watching this, you might can chime in on this one. A lot of guys down there told me, and it was probably a little bit later in the winter, Carolina rig on these flats. Now, you ever throw a Carolina rig on Lanier?
No, but I fished with Brandon Long, and he loves throwing a Carolina rig lizard, a 4-inch lizard.
That's exactly what they told me.
And drag it and absolutely wire your butt out.
Yeah.
I mean, he'll catch 20 fish off a point, and then I'm sitting there pulling my shaky head and can't get bit.
But you won't pick. You don't like throwing it.
I can't get the feel for it. If I'm not confident in something, and I know for a fact that I can't produce with it, because of my lack of knowledge with it, I won't do it.
Is it a lack of knowledge or lack of confidence?
Well,
hell, it ain't knowledge because I know you know.
Probably confidence more than anything. Yeah.
Do you ever throw it?
Not as much as I should. I mean, I don't. I like throwing the Carolina rig, but I feel like I have so much confidence in a jig that I feel like I'm doing the same thing.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, this past weekend I fished a tournament with Kaz, and I had so much confidence in a jig, and everywhere I threw it, I was getting so spun out because I wasn't getting bit on it. I was like,
you should be getting
I was like,
nailed.
I was flipping it in the laydowns and putting it where it belongs. And then like we go down a stretch of laydowns, and all of a sudden there's only one of those laydowns that has fish in it. I'm sitting there just staring at it. And I'm like, what is going on? And then finally I get bit, and it's like a 1-pounder. And I'm like, okay, like the jig isn't the deal today. And Kaz is over here just, like, I'm like, come on. Like,
I can see him do that.
But like, it's really like you can be super confident in something, but when it doesn't work out, It's great when it does. Like all the tournaments I've fished, I've been fishing this little local trail back home, and like I have caught the shit out of them on a jig. And because it's like I catch them on a jig first thing in the morning, and I'm catching them on it the rest of the day.
Yeah.
But this past tournament, I couldn't catch them on it. I lost a giant on a big swim bait, and I was like, okay, like I was just spinning out.
Like, why
as the
is
day
it
goes
not
on.
working?
Yeah,
It
and
ought
it
to
was
be
just
working.
like, yeah. And so I feel like it's the same thing with the Carolina rig. If your buddy's on the front of the boat railing him on a Carolina rig, and he's got the confidence, like you're going to be like, okay, like I guess that's what I need to be throwing. Like it depends on the fish, but like if you have confidence, it goes a long way. But you also have to be throwing something that's actually going to get bit that day.
Yeah, it's funny you said the old 4-inch lizard because that's what they told me to drag. Let's go ahead because we're going to get Joey Metcalf's question next, but let's go ahead and do the question of the night. All right, so let's go ahead and pull up our buddies over at Serve IT. Guys, Serve IT, if you got a company that is looking for a complete 100% start to finish IT management service, Serve IT is the guys for you. It is the company. Alan Brooks, we all know him, love him. It's his company right there. They do a fantastic job. But not only can they take care of your company from start to finish with a complete IT solution, they are also looking for qualified individuals. Now, don't let that word qualified throw you out. They're looking for guys that are go-getters that can be taught. You may not know anything about the IT world, but I encourage you, and Alan encourages you, to come apply. If you've got that it factor, and he loves the outdoorsman, he just thinks that, you know, there's traits about us, outdoorsmen, fishermen, hunters, and all that serve people well when it comes to customer service and being patient and learning how to figure out a problem from start to finish. They are looking for you at Serve IT. And I strongly encourage you. It's a great company, but I encourage you to go talk to Alan, go to serveit.com, check out their career section, and start the conversation, because you might be surprised that there is an IT future for you. So, again, we appreciate Serve IT for their support of the live well. And here's what you're going to win tonight. Now, Spro is bringing over from Japan. These are, and I hope I'm saying it right, Hide Up. I think that's the way we're going to pronounce it. It might be Hide Up. I don't know, but we're going to go with Hide Up. It's a line of soft plastics. And so we got the Stagger swim baits. All right. So these are not, I don't think they're on the market yet, like in the stores, but they're coming. And who was it that I said? He said the email, was it Taku that uses this brand? It's not this particular bait, but he uses this brand.
I think so. Yeah.
The way he compared these baits was, in Japan, these are as popular as Mega Bass is to us in the United States. So got a couple of different colors of these. I think these are, now listen, the writing is all in Japanese. So like, I don't even know what size these things are. 3-inch. That is in English. The original 3-inch, designed by Hideo Yoshida. Namaste. All that stuff. So anyway, we got 2 of these. What are you laughing at back there, Alex? Huh? Is that what you're supposed to say?
No.
JDM. Okay, so Discover Bass Adventure. JDM Hide. Am I saying it right? Saying Hide Up? Yeah. Discover Bass, let me know, because y'all know how I mispronounce everything. So anyway, and you know, some of you guys, if you want to come by the shop, I got a bunch of these things. I'll let you try some. I've got all different sizes. Michael Owner says Alan is a great guy. All right, but here's the question. Here's the question for these 2 things. He won big fish in the Toys For Tots tournament. What was the winning weight? And what did he catch it on? And when I say what did he catch it on, it's a 2-part there at the end. I want to know the brand of both segments of what he caught it on. What was the winning weight for big fish of the Toys For Tots tournament that Charlie caught? And what was the specific brand? So, you ever heard of these Heidi Ups? You know the answers back there, right? Mm-hmm. So, you can watch it out. So, you guys, hey, if you paid attention at the beginning of the show, I threw the answer out there. But it's been a topic of discussion. Now, Anthony Hampton, you're very close. There's one more part to the bait.
Did you say the weight of the fish? The weight of the total bag?
No, the weight of the fish. So he's got that. Kitech is, but what was the other? Troy Mims. Troy Mims is the first. Nope. Okay, so there's the answers are out there. We're gonna hang right here to see these guys get the answer. You guys are close.
Still got half, Dylan.
I need guys, listen.
Okay. You got type. You got type.
Is that it? Is that it? Okay, no, we got it right there. Who was that?
That ain't it.
Yeah, Troy Mims right there.
He didn't spell it right.
Yeah, close enough.
No.
We're country boys. We're close enough. I'm gonna give it to Troy. So the answer was a 781 largemouth. It was a Kitech on a spot choker underspin.
Chatterbaits.
Yeah, that's like German. It's like something.
Spot 7.8.
Sprechen Sie Deutsch,
He's
Fräulein?
just typing too fast and missed the space bar.
Or he's got fat fingers like me. So Troy,
There we go.
yeah. So he redid it down there, but
At least
he did fix it. But I think Troy, I got your address. Maybe not. You know how my brain works. If I don't, go ahead and message me your address and I'll send them out tomorrow. So appreciate you guys trying. It's always fun because, like, seriously, you'll see the answers like in parts. They're all over the place. There's bits and pieces of it. And everybody's so close. And also, too, that's another thing. All the answers were from YouTube, which is what I love, because if a guy on Facebook and a guy on YouTube type at the same time and enter at the same time, YouTube always wins. So, and again, that goes back to the announcement. After the first of the year, the live was only going to be on YouTube. We will not be doing Facebook anymore after the first of the year. We will, however, if we can figure it out, me and Alex can figure it out, we will be going on TikTok. Of course, by the time we get that figured out, they're going to ban the damn thing.
Yeah.
All right, go back up. Go back up. Let's get back to that question. It was up above that. Keep on going. I think it was, let's see. We'll see. Keep on going.
I think.
No, we were already up
No,
there.
you're good.
No,
And
there
he
was-
just
No, there was
there
one
was one up
question
above.
right there. Joey Metcalf, right there. Are our largemouth chasers mainly targeting Rocky Point shallow or shade lines in the sunny side of docks? So you're a largemouth chaser. Of those two scenarios, what are you doing? Or neither. Or neither. If that ain't it.
It really just depends on the day. Shallow rocky points are always a good place to start at most days.
Huh?
Tell Clint to stop.
Is you got to get close again.
Tell Clint to stop.
What am I doing?
Huh? You're over there caressing that microphone stand. And
Son,
getting
I
excited.
just holding it close.
I am stroking it. It's okay.
Hold on a second. I told Charlie to make love to the microphone.
Not
man.
me. Okay.
Huh? Are you thinking about something we need to know about?
What are you talking
I have no idea what you're doing, but they're back there in the control room and they're like,
I
I'm
can hear it.
controlled.
oh, you can hear him.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
you're
can
going.
hear it.
Okay.
You're like that. What is that ASMR stuff?
Yeah, I can hear
Where
him
they're like,
rubbing on the
I'm sitting
microphone.
there
stand.
rubbing my
Hey
eyes.
guys, we're gonna talk about fishing tonight.
Okay.
All right, let's get off that. Somebody just tuned in. They're like, "What the hell am I
Yeah.
watching?" All right, so back to the question.
Rocky points, shallow rocky points are a good place to start usually. Summertime, I'd try the shade side of the docks and shade lines. Wintertime,
You don't mess with docks near as much.
no, I really don't. I mean, you get super shallow and it looks like that's a place where largemouth will be, that's when I'll hit docks. Unless I'm fun fishing with my wife, because she likes to fish these tournaments too. And then we'll change up everything that we do. And my
Yeah, because
style
you
of
put a
fishing,
woman on the boat, it changes the
it
whole
changes
thing, don't it?
everything, But
I'm just kidding
we've
if you're
won
watching.
and we've lost tournaments, fishing both ways.
But right now, tomorrow, first place you're going to hit again, flat.
Flats and backs of creeks, and right beside ditches. A rocky flat's better than a mud flat to me.
Okay, that was my next question. Got to have some rock.
Yeah, you got to have some kind of structure. But if you have wind blowing across that flat that's coming around the bend of the lake and it drops off into a ditch, then I'm going to fish into the wind and I'm going to bring it right back across the ditch. I'm not going to fish the ditch.
You're going to bring it across the top of the ditch.
Those are ambush predators.
Right.
You might get lucky.
Might get lucky. Hey, that's all it takes sometimes. Dennis Rice wants to know, what jig And what size jig are you throwing?
I throw 1/8 ounce. I throw 3/8 and half. Just depends on what I'm doing and where I'm at. The 1/2 ounce jig is heavy, but you can get it down quick.
I feel like I'm dragging mud every time I throw a 1/2 ounce jig.
It's heavy. But
Yeah.
if you needed to get down there on those windier days, you want it to get down quick.
Yeah.
Sometimes you'll get a reaction strike on it falling. But if you're not getting bit on that heavier one, drop back to a 3/8 and then all the way down to an 1/8. I've had more luck lately on 1/8 ounce.
Going that light, yeah.
That light.
I remember you, because we talked about that in the shop. You asked me if I could tie 1/8 ounce jigs, and I don't have that mold.
Yes, sir. I mean, even on standing timber out on, 30 foot of water sometimes, there's a lot of guys, that's what they'll throw. And
Now-
I ask them, how do you set your weight? How are you that patient? You got to be.
It's like throwing a wacky rig over.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I don't have that much patience.
I got it.
I don't.
I got it. But let me ask you this: are you throwing a full size jig?
Yes.
So even at an 1/8 ounce, you're still throwing a full size. You ain't
Full
pulling out one of these little spotties or nothing like that.
No, sir.
No bitsy bugs. You're throwing
No,
a
sir.
full size jig at 1/8.
That ain't that.
Because I know the ones I do tie from you from time to time, they're always just full size regular
Full size.
jigs.
I don't ever change nothing on the skirt. Every now and then I'll take and I'll trim up some rubber bands on it, or the skirt a little bit to give it a little more flair.
Yeah,
And then the main thing I change is my trailers.
right.
Different types of trailers, different fall.
Now, I'm going to ask you this because I know Clint likes to throw a jig, but it don't matter where he's at. He's working it pretty much 95% of the time same way. Dragging slow.
Dragging.
Wintertime jig fishing for you. You slow dragging?
Yes, sir.
You ain't doing none of this hop stuff and all that?
Even with my shaky head, I fish it the same way I do with my jigs. You throw it out there, it hits the bottom, and you just pull.
Just pull. Just
you feel
slow.
it hit something, give it a little pop, and let it jump over it.
Okay.
Keep fishing.
I got you right there. All right, so let's go scroll on down to the next questions. I know we had a bunch of them coming up after all the answers right there. So, War Eagle, the best. Question:
I think he retyped it after that.
did he retype it? Type it on down.
I want to say he did. Yeah, there you go.
Okay, here we go. Oh, because he said that. Yeah, it makes sense now. Because I was like, "What in the world is that first word?" I was trying to pronounce it. Spinnerbait still the ticket to win tournaments with a question mark. Why are they not that dominant as they have been 5 years ago? I'm going to give you the shop owner perspective. Everybody and their mother and their brother were throwing spinnerbaits when they first came out. Couldn't keep them on the shelves. I've had many a guy come in here and say, it's just been overused. Now, I don't know if I buy that because, hell, we've been throwing a Kitech for how long now? But even now, some guys saying Kitechs get overused, and that's why they're going to more of the minnow, straight-tailed minnow. I don't know. I don't know the answer. I'm just going to tell you from a shop owner's perspective, that's what I hear guys say. Do you throw spinnerbait?
Yeah, so I still throw a spinnerbait a good bit, but I like a spinnerbait. I throw a little Japanese spinnerbait that I like that has just a jig hook. I think the reason people got real hot on a spinnerbait, and when they first came out, they ate it good, and they didn't come off. But like now, they don't eat it as good. You have to shrink down the size of the hook on the back. There's all kinds of stuff you got to do to make them eat it, and stay on and get in the boat. So I've been throwing a little tiny spinnerbait with a jig hook on the back just because I feel like it's got a better hookup ratio. But I think the spinnerbait's not dead, but it's definitely not the same as when it came out. I feel like they just don't eat it the same. And you just have a lot of more high risk versus a jig head minnow where you're on a single hook. You have the leverage. If they dig and pull and all that stuff on you, you don't have a size 8 treble hook that could possibly pull out of a big smallmouth or a spot or a largemouth.
Yeah. Let's see. Fardog says hello from Southeast Oklahoma. Glad you could show up. He got stuck in the Ouachita Mountains, and I do mean stuck. I assume it's going to be from snow.
Yes, sir.
From snow.
Yeah.
Richie Rock and Roll. Am I still getting guests to say that magic phrase? Due to possible future sponsorships, I try not to as often. How about that? Let's just put it that way. Let's just say some of the powers that be that I have to listen to right now kind of requested that we don't talk about tongue punching. Chris Yarborough. Did I let that slip? Did I let that slip?
We're talking about punching with your tongue
Punching.
out.
Yeah, we're talking about punching
Punching
grass.
grass with
Punching
your tongue
grass.
out.
That's what we're doing.
That's how you get more bites.
Just like Michael Jordan.
Mhm.
Farmer, check your phone. You check your phone. Now you're here and you're getting texts. Ain't that something? Discover Bass Adventure. Anyone throw a vertical ice fishing jig over the ditch? Now,
100%.
isn't that something? Now, Charlie, do you ever do that? Because that don't sound like something you would do. So I'm gonna let
No.
that go back over to Clint. Didn't Cass bring something over that was something similar from saltwater? It was more of a vertical jig, right? Or was it Mac Farr and them were using it?
That was just that was a slow pitch jig.
Okay, slow pitch jig.
Um,
Okay.
But like with the ice jig, so that's something I threw 7-8 years ago when I was learning in college, and that was looking at spaghetti on 2D, dropping down with a Rapala ice jig, and that was in
Rapala.
I used to say Rapala until I got corrected by all my Minnesota guys over there.
Minnesota?
They said Rapala. And
Hey,
anyway, so dropping that Rapala ice jig down there, guy.
that sounds like Gussie.
Yeah. Oh, I was catching them on a minnow, and then I switched to that ice jig, and I just started getting bit left and right out there on
You
Lake
actually sound like
Lanier.
one of the Johnson brothers right there a little bit.
Don't put me in. Those names don't go together. Call me Gussie any
Call me
day, but
Gussie.
I ain't a Johnson brother. That's for damn sure. All right. Throw.
I dig it, dude. I get it. Now I know how to fire him up. I have found his kryptonite right there, baby.
God.
Man, he's sweating.
Huh?
Yeah, I'm
Oh,
sweating
he's
a little
ready.
bit.
Look at him. He's
Yeah.
fight mode. His
Oh,
chest
yeah.
is bouncing and all that.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. All right, but I'll be serious. But you did throw him.
Yes. So I threw him back in the 2D days, super deep on Lake Fontana up in Western North Carolina. And that was when I learned how to fish it. And I was literally just like, you just sit there and hop it off the bottom.
Yeah.
But now with Livescope, it's one of those things to where I'll pull them to the boat with a minnow if they don't eat the minnow. And you have those 5 big blobs swirling around under you in 70, 80 foot. You can drop that ice jig down there and still be able to catch them. So you basically pop it in their face. I've literally popped it in their face for more than 5 minutes until I get a bite and then catch like a 3, 4, 5 pounder. So
Read in your Canadian voice there, Joey Metcalf's thing. You got to read it Canadian like though.
Oh, yo, retrieve on an ice jig or vertical ripping. Gee golly, don't you know?
That sounded like a Japanese Canadian right there. Though. That's an Oriental
Just
Canadian.
because I said yo-yo?
No, it's the way you started that off. Wax
Yo-yo.
on, wax off, Kevin says. Okay, before I get to Far Dog's question, now let's go back, though, to the spy bait. One of the things that a lot of guys, now this is with the Livescope, speed of the bait. Herring are flying. They don't go really slow. They don't want to get eaten. Do you think the spy bait might have lost a little bit of popularity because guys are now using faster retrieves? Maybe that's the reason, or you just think it just got overused?
I think it just got overused. I mean, you got to think the presentation of a jig head minnow. You got a soft bait that reacts like a bait fish does,
Right.
versus a hard bait with treble hooks. So you got more reflection, more light getting bounced off of that bait. You got props bouncing light off of that bait. Which one looks more natural in a bucket of water? You're going to say the jig head minnow almost every time. So, I mean, the reason that bait is so dominant is because of how simple it looks. The spy bait's flashy. It's the Bugatti of minnows, So you got all that other extra stuff flashing on a spy bait to where just a fluke on a jig head is completely different. So I think the pressure-wise, I think.
That makes sense. All right, Far Dog. This is a good question. It's definitely lake dependent.
Mm-hmm.
How deep do the spots go in y'all's area in late January? Out here, 70 feet is the deepest. I catch them over deep humps. Now, if you're on Carter's, them jokers can be down at 180 feet for all I know.
Easy.
They really could. They do go that deep. I mean, Farmer's shaking his head. You fished up there.
Yeah.
Lanier, 70 feet. That's not out of the question. Really not out of the question in
summertime.
Summer,
I catch them in deep.
Because the reality of it is on Lake Lanier, and it is a different world. Ron Swinford says Carter's is a different world, but pretty much, other than the true ditch bite that we get a little more in the wintertime, summertime fishing on Lake Lanier can oftentimes take the topwater out. As far as deep water, it's the same as the wintertime. I mean, there's not much difference. Those fish are down there year round. Did Kevin have an aneurysm or something? He just answered that question about 22 minutes after everybody else did. And so he's all mad because I had an easy question of the night.
Chickens.
Wait till Thursday night's question. Like, I done got the man fired up. Anthony Hampton caught some last week on Carter's 80 feet deep. So far, dog, I think it's simple to say. Now, the thing about a spotted bass in Georgia, it can be, last year in January, they ran a lot of electric-only tournaments out of Baldridge. Most of those tournaments were won shallow. A lot of tournaments, guys, I think when we had Paul Driscoll on, he was talking about throwing his bent worm, Nico rig. He was throwing it at the bank in January. So you got spots that stay shallow year-round. You got yours that go back and forth, and you got some that just stay deep year-round. So definitely can go very much either way. Ron Swinford will miss Thursday night show. I'll be watching Georgia Southern in the bowl game. Hey, Ron, just, watch the game, turn the volume down, and let us know about the score. Craftmaster, appreciate you joining us tonight. The spy bait was a great way to fan cast for timberfish by counting down before forward-facing sonar. Now not as efficient with forward-facing sonar. But I do get what he's saying, because you knew you were sitting there and you could see the timber on 2D and all that. You knew you were in the area, and you still could kind of, with your spaghetti.
And you can cast it far, too. So if you're ditch fishing, you can cast it far and be confident that you're going to sink it down above the timber and reel it back. You count it down 10 seconds or whatever. You can slow roll it like a swim.
What is it, about a foot a second?
Yeah, roughly.
Roughly like that?
Depending on the size of the spy bait. Yeah.
There you go. So, Derek O., this is for you, Clint. Was your 5.5 from the tourney deep or shallow?
And like 10 foot of water, and it wasn't mine. It was Eddie. Shout out Eddie Krauth. He caught it on a spinning rod.
On a spinning rod. Was he pulling a shaky head? Or what was he?
Sure enough, yeah. He was dragging. Oh, shaky head Ed was dragging a shaky head, and he caught him a dang big one.
He caught him a big one. Far Dog, send me 500 pounds of them dang herring. Well, yes and no. Depends on who you talk to. Herring ain't exactly the best thing for some
I think
lakes.
we need gobies.
Gobies. You always say that gobies.
Dude, them gobies in Lanier, if we had a 500 pounds of gobies in Lanier, those spots would be 12 pounds, I swear.
Yeah, but they'll stay deep all the time.
Yeah.
You ever fished a lake with gobies?
No.
You ain't?
Not that I know of.
I mean, that's more of a northern bait fish.
Yeah.
But the smallmouth love them, but they stay deep, right?
Mm-hmm.
They don't school up on top or nothing like that.
No.
They're always
They just
deep.
glued to the bottom.
Glued to the bottom.
They're dumb and fat, and they just choke them down. It's awesome.
So it's awesome. It's easy targets. Now, a lot of people will say that on a lake with largemouth, because the herring spawn happens right after the largemouth spawn. So when you got largemouth fry up trying to hide in the grass and places where herring will come up, those herring will eat. And I don't know that to be 100% true, but I think we've heard that enough from people. So it's kind of if you want your spotted bass to grow, that's pretty good. I think the thermocline would kill off the gobies in the summer.
Well, let's try it.
Let's try it. We need to try it in Carter's.
I wonder if fried gobies any good.
How big does a goby get?
They can get like I've seen scuba divers up in the St. Lawrence have taken pictures of like 12 to 16-inch gobies, biggins.
Oh, well, hell, you can eat a daggum perch that size. So,
me and Kaz caught some mag perch. The biggest one he caught on Saturday was 1 pound, 14 ounces.
Was it on Lanier?
No, it was up in the mountains.
Oh, okay.
But it was a pound, 14 ounces.
That is a mag for down here.
It was built like that tall.
They're just little oil buckets.
Yeah.
I mean, they taste so good. I do know that Underwood got on some he had some pictures of some perch from Lanier.
There's big ones in Lanier too. I didn't know that.
Hell, he had the late record last year. He took it home and ate it. He didn't know what the late record was.
What is the late record?
I want to say it's 1.7. Am I close?
It's got to be bigger than that.
It ain't,
because the Georgia state record's like 2 pounds 9 ounces. I want to say.
Then maybe it's bigger. But he said he had the late Lanier record perch, but he didn't know what it was. He took it home and ate it, and then the next day he found out what it was. He said, "Hell, I just ate the record, or right at the record." I mean, Have you caught any perch though out of Lanier?
No, not lately. It's been years since I've caught any perch out of Lanier.
You got to get down to that timber, baby.
No,
You got to get down that timber.
I like that shallow.
How you want
Yeah.
perch? Go to Blue Ridge.
Yeah.
So I got that. So let's see. Anthony, pull up Anthony's question though.
More of a statement.
Bass get 70% more protein from herring versus threadfin or gizzard shad. Now that's interesting.
All about that protein.
It's all about that protein. Got to do that carnivore diet. I can't dispute that, but that's as good as anything I've heard. There's no doubt they're great bait fish.
Right.
They just have a few detrimental aspects to them being there. 6.01 spot on Lanier spinning rod shaky head. Now that I believe Michael just caught. Big fight it was, he says.
bet.
Imagine on a spinning reel.
Yeah, I listen.
See that 5.5 though? Eddie was like, we got it in the net. We had people fishing real close to us, and we kind of put it in the net. And Eddie's like, "That's over 4." And I'm like, "Yeah, dude, it's over 4, dog."
Yes,
I was
you
like,
say that.
"It's over 4."
DS Bass Guide, the biggest goby I personally caught was 11-inch in Lake Ontario.
He knows all about them gobies.
Hey, I tell you, that's awesome. All right, Far Dog. You got to jump in here on these answers now.
Mhm.
I don't want you to get over there being silent and all shy.
No, I'm with you.
You okay? There we go.
I'm
So
just
this one's all you.
okay. Yeah. What's the key to breaking down a lake like Hartwell in the late pre-spawn where there is so much boat docks to throw at? So you get on Hartwell or a lake similar,
Mhm.
ton of boat docks. I know, and I just know this from you. The reason you were around that boat dock the other day was because
They
you
were
knew
crappy.
they were crappy around it. And you thought wintertime, that's an easy meal for bass.
Absolutely.
So you knew that boat dock had some brush.
Right.
So would that kind of factor into you going and trying to find a certain boat dock to fish, or how would you break it down? Now, he's talking late
Hartwell.
pre-spawn on
Yeah.
Hartwell.
So
What I would usually do in pre-spawn or late pre-spawn is I'm going to go to the very backs of these pockets where the docks are. And the last 3, I'll fish all of those and fish them hard. If that pattern don't work, then you try something a little bit different. Maybe work yourself out a little further, finding more cover, more brush piles around your docks. But usually those last 3 boat docks will be a good starting spot.
Now you talking in the ditch, all the way at the back,
No.
or at the beginning
No ditch. It's in the backs of the pocket.
of a pocket? Okay, but you're in the back of that pocket.
Yes, sir.
The ones in the back of the pocket. Okay, that
The-
makes sense.
The last 3 docks is what I'd usually start fishing.
Again, you like the shallow fish,
Yes, sir.
and so they're probably 15 foot or less back, being that far back.
Correct.
There you go. You're very consistent.
Yeah.
I'll give you that. He don't change much. Now, this is something I have found to be true, and I got an idea with this. Joey Metcalf, shallow spots seem to be bigger than ditch pickles on average in my experience. Do you think the variety of forage plays a part in that, or is it just that deep fish are lazier? I will say this, brim eaters, they're up there too. They're up there chasing bait, eating crawfish. Brim are in the area, they'll eat that. We've had that conversation, Clint, you and I, but even out deep,
And we had to fizz all of our shallow fish that we caught in less than 10 foot of water. They had just pulled up from being deep. So that's where you get that controversy is like, are the big ones out deep or are they shallow? It's like, I mean, all those fish had just pulled up that morning that we caught. So it's like, why are they on their sides? Their air bladders blown up like balloons. It's like they just came out of that deep water, pulled up to feed. So when you're capitalizing on where they're feeding, that's one thing. When you're catching them in a ditch, when you're making them feed, it's different, I feel like.
That's a good point. What do you think about that? That sound?
I agree 100% because the fish will move up and down all day long. I mean, they're going to be shallow. They're going to be deep.
And that's one thing forward facing sonar has taught us.
Yes.
Spotted bass just ain't sitting on a rock, just kind of waiting for something to
No,
come
I
by.
mean,
Them boogers are moving.
They're always
It
moving.
changed our whole perspective on it because in our mind back then, we were always, a bass is ambush hunter. It's ambush hunter. It's ambush hunter. It's going to be laying behind this log waiting on this to swim by. Granted, they do.
Yeah.
But when you're sitting and watching them, they're not still.
Yeah.
They'll be on a point. You turn this way. Turn back this way again. They're gone.
Yeah. Especially spotted bass.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
They'll
I
be
wonder if
there
that
and gone.
behavior's changed over the years just with how fishing pressure has gone. Like maybe a bass did used to just sit by a log. Do you think they move around a lot more because they kind of have to because bait fish have gotten smarter over the years?
Could be. I mean, they could be a
Could very
variety.
well be, or they just could be just roaming.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not staging up and holding in places like what they used to, or
Yeah.
what we thought they used to do. It may have changed our whole. What we thought we knew, we didn't know nothing about how fish reacted underwater. I mean, you
If
never
Randy
know.
Blockett has his way, we never will.
Oh, I
Yeah.
know, Lord, he's going to see all them 12 bags. It was over 20
Cheater
pounds.
boxes, you guys can't. Yeah, and I wish. See,
you
that's
gonna
the thing.
catch Too many fish.
I wish he'd have saw that thing and said this guy won on a cheater box, so that you can say, hell no, I want it over a cable.
Yeah, cable.
I want it with a cable right there. I want to do something real quick. Turn your head around.
Oh.
I want you to give a shameless plug real quick before I get to Ron's comment.
Shameless plug.
Give a shameless plug.
Shameless plug for battle baits, you guys. Top quality spinner baits and jigs and other terminal tackle and buzz baits and stuff. If you use Alex at checkout, save 10%.
There you go. See,
I'll go buy some.
you see,
You
you
should.
guys go.
I'm
You
down.
guys
I'll
go.
go try it.
Because here's the thing: when you use that Alex 10%, yeah, you save 10%. But what you also do is you give battle baits. It clicks in their system that somebody used his thing and lets them know that he's doing his job. You're sponsored by that brand, and you're doing your job promoting that
And
brand.
that's part of shopping local. You know?
That's exactly right, because that's a smaller company, right?
Small business.
Small business, veteran owned.
Veteran owned, even more important. You
Even
guys
better.
get your ass over there to battlebaits.com
Battlebaits.com.
and use Alex to get 10% off. The Alex 10,
Just Alex.
just Alex, ALEX.
Quit messing with the mic.
Oh, I know it. I know it. I'm
Tweaker.
tweaking.
Tweaker.
Listen, I got told that I'm always got to have something in my lip or I'm moving my tongue. I got a mouth fetish or something like that. I'm always moving my hands. So I think it's the Adderall.
It might be.
It might be that steroid shot I got from the doctor. Ron Swinford, though, I thought I was close. Going up, his first one right there. According to GON records, 1.5 pound yellow perch is Lanier.
I've seen
record.
bigger ones caught out of Lanier. That's
See, I don't
crazy.
think people know that.
Nobody's reported it, I guess.
I think Kevin said his was 1.7.
Yeah.
And it was probably about 1.7 with all that damn batter he put on it while he was eating. It looked good, boys.
That's probably 2.7.
It probably was. Michael says he loves those big girls pulling up. Who don't?
Always love big girls pulling up.
You can't, don't knock the big girls pulling up, forward or backwards. It don't matter. Ron Swinford says, again, if you look back to the really cold water classic on Hartwell,
Yes.
all the pros were fishing shallow for the first hour, waiting on the herring to come in and out of the pockets at daylight.
I mean, that's herring lakes in general. It doesn't matter what time of year. Herring don't pull up until 9 o'clock unless it's the herring spawn, I feel like.
I think that's pretty consistent.
General rule of thumb. I mean, there's plenty of herring wizards out there that'll tell me I'm an
But
idiot,
that's a broad stroke though that holds
Yeah.
true for a lot of it.
I mean, you got to think, what's the bait doing, right? At
Yeah.
the end of the day.
Absolutely. Have you felt that to be kind of true just about that time frame?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean you're going to
it's-
go somewhere and see it earlier from time to
Right.
time, but in general,
Yeah.
That makes sense. Now, here's a question for both of you, and I do have an answer for this, and it's not either one of these guys. Have either of you caught bass in January or February on a buzz bait? Now, Farmer's grinning. He's back there with that just little pudgy cheeks back there, just a grinning ear to ear.
No, sir.
You have not.
No, sir.
How about you?
Yeah, I've caught them on a buzzbait in January
Mhm.
and February.
Well, I will tell you, Keith White, buddy of mine that fishes electric only, was on the Dahlonega Reservoir. We were at Jimbo's convention show, whatever he calls that thing now. It was snowing. It was 30-something degrees, spitting snow, wind blowing 20 miles an hour. It's just freezing, but they had a tournament on that reservoir up in Dahlonega that day, and he didn't catch crap for some reason and you fish this lake. You
Yes.
know the lake I'm talking
Yes.
about. About 1 o'clock, he pulled out a black buzzbait just for the hell of it. It was the only thing left in this thing. And he won that thing is a 3-fish tournament. He won it with like 15 pounds. All 3 caught on a buzzbait
That's awesome.
in 30-something degree temperatures, 20-mile-an-hour winds, spitting snow. So can it be done? Yes. I also think, too, it has to do a lot with what kind of January or February we have.
Right.
If we got a mild one, I'm sure there are tons of guys that have
I
caught.
feel
them
like
on
you got to
buzzbait.
be around bait, or the ceiling has to be low enough, right? Like you have to be in the shallower water around shallower cover just to get that pure reaction. I mean, if you have a largemouth sitting right here, the top of the water column's right here, and the buzzbait goes over the top, it doesn't take him any energy for him to go and slurp that thing.
I don't think he's going to chase it down 20 feet.
No, it's not like the summertime when you're clacking from a mile away, sounding like a somebody about to go throw bread to the pigeons in the park, and
Yeah.
you're just clacking down the sidewalk. I mean,
See, we were fishing Dahlonega at that time, and we were doing Jimbo's show, so I missed that tournament. So then I saw what the weight was, and I'm like, good Lord.
Mhm.
And then I talked to Keith in the shop, and all he goes, yeah, black buzzbait in January. Carson says, "Old Becky's." That's right. Give us a Kaz Anderson, Old Becky.
oh, dude, you got to get you one of them Grayson Perkins Becky's.
Becky's right there. Ron Swinford says, in February, after a couple warm days, you can get a popper bite. Normally, you will not catch many, but you might catch a giant. And again, yeah, I'm getting the nods in there from Farmer. And that I think is that fish pulling up, opportunistic. It's there. It probably is. You're probably close to that fish, huh? Yeah, talk, Farmer.
In the wintertime, you want your topwater bites. You get a couple warm days, but also if you get a warm rain, your topwater bite's going to really heighten up for buzzbait and popper around warm water runoff. Those fish pull up in that warmer water and they sit there. That's where your popper, your buzzbait, and your square bill will flat wear them out in the wintertime.
Because you're getting water that's probably 20 degrees warmer than the water coming in, and they're going to be attracted to that. The bait fish are going to go there. That makes a lot of sense.
Absolutely.
All right, let me ask you this. We'll get some more comments and questions, I'm sure, coming. But what is something right now that you would not recommend anybody doing a traditional way? I mean, what does not work, in your opinion, right now on lakes like Lanier, Chateau, Hartwell, Allatoona? Just in your experience, or is it just pretty much a cornucopia of everything?
Honestly, it just depends on the day. You could throw one thing today, take it out tomorrow, and not get bit.
Well, hell, that's fishing, though.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
We've got guys that fished against us, in those tournaments that fished, 50, 60, 70, 80 foot deep on the south end.
Yep.
They caught fish.
Yep.
You got people like me that stayed shallow. We caught fish. There's no wrong way to fish right now. The only thing I'm not going to tie on would be a spy bait. I would not use a spy bait at all.
Yeah, I don't think you and I have ever had a conversation in the shop about a spy bait.
I will not tie one on. I don't like them. I never have.
Would you say the jerk bait's your favorite, though?
Jerk bait and a chatterbait would be about my favorite.
Okay, well, there's something that we ain't talked about. Chatterbait.
Yes, sir.
In the wintertime.
Yes, sir.
On Lanier.
Yes, sir. No, one brand, a Thunder Cricket.
Thunder Cricket.
Green pumpkin.
Green
and
pumpkin.
I'll put either a sweet beaver, or ugly otter on it, or something like that, and I can control my buoyancy with that trailer.
You mentioned that to me earlier. Tell everybody what you're talking about.
If you turn your trailer sideways, it doesn't fall as quickly, so you can work it in shallower water and not beat the bottom to death. Or you can turn it, if you want it more streamlined, you turn it up straight up and down, and it'll come through just like any other swim bait that you've got tied on the back, any other trailer.
How are you working it right now? I mean, what are you targeting a chatterbait this time of year?
Rip wrap.
Rip wrap. So you're not using it in ditches or nothing like that. You're just using it rip wrap.
Rip wrap only.
And rip wrap only.
Mm-hmm.
I think you and Farmer need to get in a boat together.
It'd be fun.
They'll be fighting over the trolling motor. So.
No, I'll
I'm
stand.
just kidding.
Hey, he's better than I am. He's whooped my butt many times. Many times.
Yeah, but don't sell yourself short because. But okay, why would so just in that particular area? That's the only time you're going to pull it out. And so when you're at rip wrap, are you paralleling the bank and throwing it and bringing it different type? Start shallow and then maybe go down the water column a little bit, working it down that rip wrap, or how are you approaching the rip wrap?
I usually stay about 30 foot off the bank.
So you're casting to it.
Yeah, I'm casting in front of the boat at kind of maybe a 45-degree angle, so I can work the whole water column.
Right.
If I see I'm getting bit, say 20 foot from the bank, then I'm gonna get closer to the bank, and then I'm gonna parallel the bank, and I'm gonna stay dead in line with where I'm throwing.
Keep it in that 20-foot range.
Yeah.
There you go, like that. So, man, good stuff, right? Yeah. But it's simple stuff.
But that little bit of difference about flipping your trailers around will help people fish heavier stuff or bigger stuff in shallower water.
What size? What weight? Thunder Creek? Half ounce.
Everything's half ounce on my chatterbaits.
Everything. And so they could target that in any lake in North Georgia on the rip wrap.
And now I'll change it up when I go to a different lake or get away from, like in spring, I'll swap to a standard Z-Man's chatterbait.
Yeah.
You know, chartreuse and white, chrome blades, and then I'll put a 3-3 Kitech on the back of it, and then I'll fish it all day long.
All right, let me ask you this: are you targeting on that riprap? Are you targeting largemouth?
Only.
So that is a largemouth technique for you.
Yes.
Farmer's giving his head nod of approval back there. Far Dog. Now, I'm going to read his thing, but Michael Lohner, 2 comments down, says they eating it right now. They eating them right now, so Chatterbait. So he's an Allatoona guy.
Okie dokie.
I'm telling you, listen, he's always posting pics. The man catches some pretty good fish, I just have to say. I don't know what all tournament trails he fishes, but I do know he of the Allatoona guys, because in farm, you know, most of the Allatoona guys are kind of like, they ain't posting what they catching a lot of times. So it's kind of like there's a little bit of hidden mystique right there. But Michael, he always posting some good fish. Far Dog, let's see, what did he say? Nowadays, even with Livescope, how long do you guys sit on a spot without getting bit, even though your practice was awesome on said spot? So didn't you, now one of you two said it, was it you that said you had an idea where to go the first spot
Yes, sir.
and it wasn't happening?
No, sir.
And how long did you give it?
I didn't give it no time because I knew it was going to be too shallow. All the fish that I'd found before was in water. After that, they were out of water.
What do you mean out of water?
They drove the lake down too far.
Oh, the lake had dropped. So you didn't fish it like a day or two before, because we didn't have no off limit. So what you're saying is you just knew from history or past experience they should be there. You got that spot and went, uh-oh.
Mm-hmm.
So you didn't give it much.
No.
Okay. What about you? Didn't you say y'all had something like that, your first spot?
Yeah, I mean, we fished the first spot for a little while. I mean, we didn't stick around very long, and we bounced around trying to make that same pattern work. But I mean, you got to run and gun.
Had you pre-fished any for this?
No, not at all.
You just were going on.
None of my tournaments this fall I practiced for at all.
Just show up and fish, but you're going on experience and what they should be doing.
In theory, but you show up, and I mean, this past weekend I showed up, and the water temp was 10 degrees colder than I thought it would be. So I was like, okay, well, there goes that plan. Then you kind of got to scrap it and figure out what to do.
Well, let me ask you this. So let's say both of you, I want both of you to answer this. Let's say you do practice and you find a ditch that was loaded with fish that were just chomping. You go there the next day, you're not getting bit, but you know there is just a ass load of fish in that ditch. How long you giving it before you leave?
Oh, they went somewhere. I mean, they can swim, but they're not going to go that far, especially in the wintertime. That's why everybody giving me crap for blurring out the backgrounds. Like, those fish aren't leaving for 3 months.
Yeah.
So it's like
yeah.
they're in there somewhere, but it's how active are they? Like, well, you might have pulled up and they're in 20 foot of water and they're active on bait. And then you come back in the tournament and those fish are out in 40 foot of water, not doing anything, sitting on a stump. So it's like, how active are they? If they're showing themselves and they're being active, that's one thing. If they're not, that's when you get out of there.
I got you. All right. How about you?
Me, I'm not going to waste a whole lot of time. I'm going to give them a few casts. If they don't react to it, I'm gone.
Even if you absolutely smoked them there the day before?
Enough time in the boats told me if they don't bite, they're not going to bite.
Yeah.
Find something that is. You're on a time schedule. Fun fishing is one thing. You can go out there and actually fish.
Yeah.
You know, and spend time and try to make them bite and try to make them bite. In the tournament, you don't have that luxury. You go with what you know is going to work. If they don't bite it, you go to the next one.
Okay. So Mr. Ryan Sheffield has joined the group chat over there. Chuck the hero right there.
Lord have mercy.
Ryan, no, listen, he made us all proud, though. He made us all proud the other day. You made me proud. All right, so pull up Doc Holiday. Ryan, good seeing you in the comments, dog. Make sure during these football games you text me so we can fuss about them during the game. Saw Slick Johnson tell of tying a finesse worm at the weight of a Carolina rig because sometimes fish will hit the weight as it kicks up mud. Anyone tried this? I can say me, no. And you never know with Slick. That could have been some satire.
Yeah.
You never know. But, I mean, how the hell would you hook it?
Beetle spin?
Huh?
A three-way swivel.
A three-way swivel?
Yeah.
I have to go find that video. So, I don't know. Farmer, you ever tied a worm to your Carolina rig? Just give me a yes or no. No?
I wonder if you just tie a long Palomar. You could tie
We
a
might
long
be coming
Palomar
up with
to
the next great Japanese kind of thing right here. It's all
Oh,
trial and error, huh?
Lord.
I want to know if either one of you caught a fish on a cube bait.
Yeah, I catch them all the time on it, on the dice, on a drop shot.
But you put it on the drop shot.
Mm-hmm.
Fish it just like a regular drop shot.
Yeah.
And it works.
I caught some big old catfish on Gunnersville on it. I did catch a 3.5 pound smallmouth that was one big fish on Fontana about a month ago
on the cube.
on the old dice. Yeah.
Dice, cube, whatever hell that they just I call them cubes. They messed me up. You ever fished it? It don't seem like your kind of bait, Charlie.
No, sir. I don't even own any tubes.
And Jonathan's giving it a thumbs down right there. So I think what was that? Dane and then called it Fight Club or Bite Club. That was going to be the secret thing. I've never done that. Let me ask you something. What is the one bait? Because you do like to fish. You would consider yourself more of a power guy.
Right.
You can finesse fish if you got to, but you're more of a power guy.
Yes, sir.
All right. What is the one bait in your entire life or whatever that you picked up thinking this is going to be the next great thing, and you threw it a couple of times and you're like, no. You've been around a while.
Sheesh.
Have you ever just picked up something thinking it was going to be the greatest thing in the world? Because I know what mine is.
Well, mine, I bought a topwater bait, and I'll never buy another one.
Well, what was it?
It was a hell raiser.
That's exactly what my
I hate
answer
them dang
was.
things. That's the ugliest thing in the world coming through the water, and I don't see how anybody would keep a fish pegged on that bait. And I've never got bit on it.
Yeah, I'm sitting here thinking when I said I know what mine is, it was going to be the Hellraiser. What about you? Now, don't get me wrong. People have caught fish on it. People catch fish on whopper ploppers too, and I can't stand them things. But the Hellraiser was the one like that is just it don't make sense. I get what it's trying to do. I don't know. What about you?
I don't know. I've really been thinking as soon as you asked it, trying to think of what I.
And you guys in the comment section, what's the one bait that you thought was going to be the next great thing?
Thought was going to be great.
Thought it was going to be great. You threw it a few times, and you're like, I hope nobody's watching me throw this bait. And Alex, you guys can chime in on that too. But what about you, Clint?
I don't know. I mean, I really have no idea. I'm trying to think of something that's like that I just threw and was super disappointed in.
Oh, okay. So Far Dog says we'll get back to this because Mr. Elite himself, Far Dog says a floating trap. I get that. That did make sense. But pull down one right there. Clint, what pattern should I be looking for this weekend on Lanier? Says Emil Wagner.
Who just weighed in the biggest bag that's ever been caught, and all those old cods said, what the heck was he doing out there?
Yeah, so, I mean, and Mr. Kaz Anderson has joined it too. Richard, we'll get to you thing.
They both just probably texted each other and be like, Clint's being an idiot on Fish North Georgia. Let's tune
go.
in.
So, if you had to give Emil, and Charlie, you can do it too.
Oh my God.
Give him a pattern he needs to be throwing. I'm going to tell you right now, listen, Emil,
I
you need to throw a Yamamoto weightless wacky worm over timber at about 60 foot. Maybe have your little bottle of something there to keep you warm while you're waiting for it to sink, and you will catch all the fish you could possibly dream of, which would drive Emil crazy because he's a 2-cast and run guy. But if you could give Emil a pattern, let's just say that.
You just keep doing what you're doing. That's fine.
So that's actually exactly what happened.
I believe it.
What is that?
Well, they both texted each other and was like, hey, Clint's being an idiot on Fish North Georgia. We should tune in and mess with him.
Well, Emil, I'm kind of hurt that you weren't here at the beginning, but you and Cass, Emil needs weaned off the jerkbait bite. So, yeah, Emil says, yeah, tell me how that worked for you, Emil, Saturday evening. Let me know if that's it. I don't even know what in the hell I was getting ready to say. Oh, he needs to be weaned off the jerkbait bite. So evidently he's throwing the jerkbait a lot. Maybe that's what you like throwing.
Yes.
Emil on that party pack right there. Emil throwing Carolina rigged pink popper on every boat ramp. Underspin copies with blade attachment to the head. That's his bait, the one that he thought would be. And Tom, I'm gonna let you know before because I haven't seen you till later on in the show. Starting January 1st, we're not going to be on Facebook anymore. It's going to be YouTube only. So I want you to go ahead. You and Kaz both. Kaz, I subscribe to your channel. I know you're on YouTube right there. And guys, give Kaz some love. Kaz is getting his YouTube channel
He
up.
put out a crankbait video. I watched that last night.
Yeah,
It's
so
good.
give Kaz some love. We love him. here at Fish North Georgia. And you guys go support them right there. What about you guys? We're talking about the bait that you threw that you thought like that's going to be the hottest thing in the world.
All these boys are getting in here being like,
Oh, is there Hayden?
These are all the guys that kick my butt all the time, and they're asking me, "What's the deal?" They know they're messing with me.
Oh, I know. Well, listen, hey, we got the important people showing up. But you know what, though, Charlie?
Mm.
You beat them guys a couple of weekends
he
ago.
did.
That's going to
He
be my
did.
one claim to fame.
That's
in
your
life.
one claim to fame.
As soon
Hey,
as
take
I'll
you away,
go pro,
brother.
I can say I did beat them one time.
You
They
did.
beat me a bunch of times.
They beat you a bunch
but
of
I got
times.
'em
You got them once. Hey, listen, proud subscriber of FNG. I'm just a Facebook warrior. I get that. Tony Hall wants to talk about your jerkbait setup. What's your jerkbait setup there?
7.2, medium, quick, or medium with a fast
Medium
tip.
quick. I like that. That's one of them
Fast
7.2
tip,
MQs, baby.
Yeah. And then 12-pound fluoro, not a high-speed reel. Just depends on how I'm working.
What's your favorite jerkbait?
Oh, it's going to be a Spro mixed stick.
You like the Spro mixed stick? Shout out Spro right there.
Yes.
Danny, do you guys throw a lure Jensen speed trap out y'all's way any? I do not, but I don't fish.
That's a
I don't get the fish. I'm in a
That's
tackle
a dirty
shop.
bait around here, honestly.
When you say
I
dirty, like dirty good?
Yeah, like dirty good. I had a tournament partner in college, old Noah Pressler, and he used to wear them out on that thing. And I was like, "What are you throwing?" He's like, "Oh, it's just a speed trap." I was like, "What?"
For those that don't know,
yes, he would
thank you,
catch
Tom.
them.
But for those that don't know, what is a speed trap?
I mean, it's just like a little square bill action. I can't even describe it.
Is it like a rattle trap?
No, it's like a little square bill. Like I don't even know how to describe it. Honestly, I'm gonna mess it up. But
Troy wants to know: has anyone try throwing a Jackall TN50? Jackall TN50 lipless. Farmer raised his hand. Have y'all tried throwing it?
No, sir.
You have not? Farmer, just give me a thumbs up, thumbs down. He gave a thumbs up, Troy. Charlie, how did you catch that biggin? So let's do the story again.
All right. I made a horrible cast. I threw over a cable that was about 20 foot above the water because I was trying to throw under the gangway and the back of the dock. I rolled it up, bounced it over the cable, hit the water, put 2 turns on the reel, and she was on it. And that was the end of the story.
Hey, it sounds good to me.
Yeah, but it was a fluke.
But you know what?
But I'll take it.
How often, though, do you make a bad cast or something like that, and it ends up working out just right?
Oh, it's happened a bunch. My wife has done splits on the boat trying to hold it where I can get fish over cables many, many, many times.
Yeah.
And
I mean, seriously, that's exactly, and that's what I know. Tad Murdoch, he's the guy teaching me how to fly fish right now, but he's like, you may think it, but there is no such thing as a bad cast if your bait's in the water at some point. You never know. And if Kaz is still on here, I remember him skipping up under a dock when we were fishing up Notley, and he was working a jig back, and he didn't like the way it was, whatever he's done. He was just reeling it in, and as he come across out from under the front of that dock, there come Becky, as he likes to call it, right behind it. He killed it. And that thing just smoked it. And then Cass is going all over the boat, back and forth. But he got it in. But that was at the end of a cast that he was reeling in.
Right.
I
mean, things happen.
Yeah, like that. So we appreciate all you famous Lanier under 26 crowd joining us tonight like that. So it's nice to see those names in the comment. Oh, Cooper McDonald's in there and everything. But since there's a question right up above Kaz right there, I want to make sure I didn't miss it. Keep on going up. Right there. Oh, so what's the deal? Okay, that was Hayden. Hell, Hayden, you know how to catch the damn fish up there.
Yeah.
They make a tough team, him and McDonald.
They both hammer him. Like I'm
big old jig, son. See, Kaz remembers it.
Oh yeah.
He went all around that boat though. I had to get out of his way. He was not going to lose that fish. And it was probably about 7 pounds right in there. Danny. Okay. Oh, I see it now. You about got me, Larry.
I was looking out.
You about got me, dog. It's late at night. I have only slept an hour and a half in the last 2 days. And you was almost, you remember the old Cajun one that I did that one time? It ended up, would you blow me? I thought it was some Cajun name, and I was trying to pronounce it like, would you like that? Well, Nicker. So yeah. Anyway, Larry,
That's
you guys,
even worse.
yeah, whatever. Hey, listen, listen. You know these guys are sitting back going like, I guarantee you I can get Danny to say this.
And they did.
Well,
Danny
it's
at
my show. I can do it.
fishnorthgeorgia.com.
And I figure all the sponsors are off by now and all the kids are put to bed. I'll get that one call from that mama, though. I can't believe you said that on the show. And I'll be like, ma'am, just like I told one time, I said, ma'am, your kid here is worse by first period in the first period
On the
every day.
school bus.
On the school
Period.
bus. You know, good Lord. But appreciate you trying to get me in trouble there, old Larry Hunt. But what did win this weekend? Was that just, I mean, was there actually anything to that?
I have no idea. I don't know anything about it.
You don't know Barry?
No.
Larry is a witty fella, evidently, like that Cass says like that. So, yeah. Well, you know how this show goes. We fall into a rabbit hole every once in a while. It's, you know, at least we ain't talking about boobs or something like that. So when I get home, my wife won't be waiting for me in the bed.
Right.
And I know, Charlie, you're a fine, upstanding fella right there. So we don't want to get you in any trouble either.
No. My wife knows I don't do nothing I ain't supposed to.
Is that right?
Yes, sir.
I wish I could get my wife convinced of that.
Oh.
Huh? Did you get the buzz right now? Your wife's
Yeah, she said, yeah.
getting that text message right there. So I tell you what, seriously, so we're about towards the end of it here on this Tuesday night. So, but I want to say this though, Charlie, because I told everybody, and we've covered a lot of stuff tonight. You're one of the good guys, and you know I turned on my YouTube with all the crap that's going on the last week in bass fishing and all that. Don't care to even give it the. Raise up these sweet husbands like that. Little Larry's going at it. But all you see on YouTube is the people getting the clicks and the views are the ones that are out there that are just clickbait, throwing up the garbage, all the bad stuff that's happening. It gets in the news. And at the end of the day, it's really nice to have a good guy come on. Not that any of my other guests are not good guys, but just a Farmer, you're a good guy too. But I'm really happy that you won that tournament. I've told you that. I'm really proud that you won that tournament because you come in here and you're very helpful with people when you're in the shop. And hell, you tell me stuff like that. I just can't go and execute it like you do. But congratulations on winning that tournament, man.
Really appreciate it.
Yeah, it meant a lot to me just to see you win. It was really cool to call that. Like I said, you had a lot of big names coming in after you like that. So, but yeah, proud of you. But you're good people, and it's guys like you, and you know a lot of the guys that are in here. You know, we give each other a hard time, but they're good people, and all we get to talk about is the crap that goes on. And I want to always try to keep our show different than that. So I appreciate you coming on tonight and sharing, you know, some of the things that you like to do. It works, and it's worked for you year after year after year.
Absolutely.
And will always work. So
as long as the lake don't go dry, we'll be all right.
I agree with that. So Clint's got Riz. There you go. So put the camera on Clint one more time.
Oh my
God. Everybody out there, can you give us a couple for all your fans out there in the audience? Can you give us a couple of chest pops? Come on.
Chest pops.
Come on. Pop that chest.
Why am I popping a chest?
Popping your chest. Come on. Let's see your muscles. Come on. Yeah, dude, you did it early. There we go. There we
get some titties in there for you.
I'm gonna start calling you Mr. Magnum there. So like that.
Oh my God,
Mr. Magnum. You want me to go down that? Rabbit hole?
Jesus
all right,
Christ.
I won't do that. There. I got him so scared right there. We'll save that for the Thursday night show. I got him
oh my God!
I could tell him about the lambskin.
Oh God, that ain't me.
Yeah, I don't even know. I don't trust Larry Hunt's damn questions anymore, so I don't know if that's a serious one or not. Was the tournament on Seminole the one that Charlie won? No, he won the Toys for Tots tournament on Lanier 2 Saturdays ago. So appreciate you joining us tonight, Clint. Always great when you're here. Farmer, thanks for coming in there. I hope you learned something. Alex, as always, outstanding job on the board. Guys, the show is only as good. Phil McCrevis, okay, I don't trust. You guys fishing the barns on Saturday.
Phil
McCrevis. Cass, dude. You damn young guys. Y'all gotta kill this old man. Once I started, I said, no.
That one got
They're going to be eating the plug. So.
They're going to be eating the plug in my crevice.
Ain't nothing wrong with the plug. Anyway, so Michael Owner, great show. Hey, listen, guys, it's only as good and as fun as you guys are in the comment section. And listen, these days get long when we do these podcasts, but I always know once we go live at 8, you guys come show up and you make the day end on such a great note. So hope you guys will join us this Thursday night. I don't know what the show is going to be about. Again, we're not doing a show the week of Christmas. So, if any guy needs a partner for Barnes Saturday, let me know. I might jump in somebody's boat.
I think
right
Damian Schlotz is going to win on Saturday.
Who?
Damian, DS Bass Guide.
Yeah.
He's going to win on Saturday.
You think so?
I'm calling it now.
You're calling it?
Yeah.
All right. Well, there you go. There's your prediction. How much weight? What's you going to take to win it?
He's going to have 2268.
2268. Well, there you go. That's the Santa beatdown.
Mm-hmm.
Scott's got a great names for this thing. So, guys, hey, we appreciate you joining us tonight. And if you're listening on iTunes or Spotify, hey, we appreciate you guys as well. Make sure you click that like and subscribe button, all that stuff I was supposed to say. But appreciate all you youngins showing up. And then Charlie is, representing us. You're not really an old codger yet, but you're getting there.
I'm borderline.
You're borderline like that. So
Those youngins experienced some old codgers this past weekend. I will say that.
they do that, yeah.
And they still catch them.
They do. So, guys, that's it for tonight. We'll catch you on the next one. Appreciate you.